What's going on, everybody? Oh, man. So, apparently the guys at Door Bumper Clear think that Kyle Busch will not be back at Joe Gibbs Racing, and they said Kaulig looks to be the lead contender or whatever. So, I guess we will start off with that. I think they put Chevrolet at like 40%, and then I don't know. I guess Toyota at 20%, and I guess Ford have the other percentage there. So I guess the other 40% for Ford or something. Yeah, I don't know, but I guess they said Chevrolet, and in particular Kaulig, they said was the destination. Now, what that would mean for Kaulig is a good question. Would they get rid of Justin Haley, or would they keep Justin Haley and get rid of the part-time car? Would it be Justin Haley and Kyle Busch, or would Justin Haley they get rid of Justin Haley and still do the part-time car? It's hard to say, but if I had to guess, and this is just a guess, and this is just the speculation from Door Bumper Clear, I would guess that they're going to keep Justin Haley because he seems to be who they are invested in long-term for the future. And I would say that Kyle Busch would go to that 31, and the part-time deal would either go away, or the part-time deal would become a non-chartered part-time deal, sort of what Trackhouse is doing with the Project 91. They would still have those drivers for that, but it would be like on a part-time deal like Trackhouse is doing. So that would be my guess if what Door Bumper Clear is saying is right, and Kaulig and the Chevrolet is where he's going. If he's going to Ford, I don't know where that Ford deal is going to fit, because we don't know if Eric Almirola is coming back, but it would Stuart Haas would be the only place I can think of that would slide him in there, and that is only if Eric Almirola is not coming back, because they already announced that Cole Custer is coming back in the 41. So that's definitely how I see it playing out. But yeah, I don't know. And of course, Toyota would obviously be 2311 according to Door Bumper Clear, because they said he's not coming back to Joe Gibbs. So what would happen at 2311 is anybody's guess. We know Bubba Wallace is locked in. We know he's going to be the long-term guy. And we know Tyler Reddick is coming in. So would they expand to a third car? That's the only thing I can think of in my mind. They would have to expand to a third car and work it out that way. And, of course, if Kurt Busch is coming back, it gets really interesting then. So a lot of stuff going on with that. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I'm just reporting or repeating what Door Bumper Clear said, and it's going to be very interesting. So from those options, it does seem like Chevrolet has a more clear path if he's not going to go back to Joe Gibbs Racing. So, yeah, I guess the Kaulig one would make sense in that perspective. But how Kaulig would do that is another question. Mark Barnum, what's going on, man? Mike Charlton, talk already. Well, I'm on now. What's up, BB? What's up, Epileptic? Bumblebee. Camaro 50, what's up? David Bebb, what's up? Let's see. Mark Barnum said, I hope it's Kaulig. Yeah, that would be an interesting fit. Kaulig's got good stuff. They've got good equipment. They're definitely really good on road courses. Kyle Busch is really good everywhere, so he's good at road courses. Kaulig has showed speed at super speedways, so he would definitely have a good car at both of those places, and he would definitely improve Kaulig overall. I think that's the one he was talking about when he was talking about in that press conference or that interview. Do I want to go somewhere where I help them build or something like that? So you could see him definitely doing that. Trackhouse, a lot of people throwing Trackhouse out there because Trackhouse is making an announcement, I guess, this weekend. So Trackhouse has been thrown out there. So who knows what's going on? But Kaulig would be a good fit for sure. I'd love to see KFB back in a Chevrolet, said Stu Putty. Yeah, that would definitely be kind of cool. And what's interesting about that is, right, Chevrolet probably not happy that Tyler Reddick, one of their young prospects, got snatched up to Toyota. And so in Chevrolet's view, in Chevrolet's mind, maybe Chevrolet goes and gets one of Toyota's guys, but not just one of Toyota's guys, Toyota's guy, the guy who is synonymous with Toyota. When you think of Toyota, you think of Kyle Busch, you think of a yellow 18, and you think of M&M's. When you think of Toyota NASCAR Racing, that is the first image, at least that pops up into my head. So Toyota's losing their guy if Chevrolet can get him. So that's definitely an interesting layer If Crowell is driving a Ford, I'll stop calling him Crowell, said John Mick. Yeah, I think a lot of people will change their mind on how much they like Kyle Busch if he's driving for their team or for their manufacturer. I think a lot of people would change their mind as to whether or not they like him. He's one of those guys, if he's your guy, he's your guy. When he's not your guy, sometimes you complain about him. He makes it interesting. He makes things easy to report. That being said, good God, in the morning, I hope he signs with somebody. I am so tired of talking about Kyle Busch. I was glad we had a live stream today, so I didn't have to make a video for the Door Bumper Clear news that they broke yesterday. You're reporting. You're now my NASCAR favorite YouTubers, said Robin Marks. I mean, I'm not reporting anything, but I'm I guess giving my 2 cents on what Door Bumper Clear said. Fun fact: 6 punted the 1 into the 3, causing the wreck that hurt the 91 today. Everyone is blaming the wrong guy. It wasn't the 1's fault at all. It was the 6. Imagine that. They blame Ross for something that might not have been his fault. Who knew? I'm so shocked. Obvious sarcasm. Thanks, Moulton, for dropping that in there. Yeah, I mean, it's always Ross's fault. We know that. It's just one of those deals. He's going to be the bad guy. He's going to be their punching bag. Marty O, what's going on? Cassandra Keller. I still would not can't out RCR. Yeah, RCR's got a chance to get him. They got that 8 car possibly open. I think if they put him in the 8 car, that is a situation where you could let Tyler Reddick go early. So that would make it really interesting. Over there at 2311, what would they do if Tyler Reddick was released from his contract early? I'm sure they would try to get him in something. So that would be definitely a good situation, or an interesting situation to see what happens. Watched tire testing today at Martinsville. Number 43, Eric Jones, is fast. Yeah, he was pretty good. When I went and watched it, he started off really slow at Martinsville in the first race this year, but then toward the end of that race, he had found speed, and he was picking his way through the field and making his way back up there. And then I think he got caught with a weird caution or something. He was trapped a lap down or something like that. But he had a good car there in the first race, so hopefully when they return, he will also have a good car. I did see some footage of Tyler Reddick going around the track backwards, doing something weird there. That was interesting as well. I don't know what was going on there. Uncle Bones, what's going on, man? Bumblebee said, nowadays, if a wreck happens within 800 miles of Ross Chastain, it's his fault. Glad he lives rent-free in all the haters' heads. Yeah, that definitely seems to be the case. Ross Chastain's turning into that guy. He's just one of those dudes now. You either like him or you don't like him. I like the way he drives. I don't have a problem with it. But a lot of people, every time a wreck happens, they blame Ross Chastain. So it's one of those interesting situations. Somehow he's become he's become polarizing. So that's all you can say about it. Rich L, what's going on, man? Mr. J, what's up? Kaulig wants a truck team, says David Bebb. Yeah, I'm David Bebb. Yeah, for sure. Whoever gets Kyle Busch gets a really, really good truck team. Truck motors are all the same. They're all made by Ilmore. So all they would have to do is change basically the front nose, because the rest of the truck from the nose back should all be spec. Maybe the hood is a little different. So maybe the nose and the hood on the truck. But other than that, you wouldn't have to change a whole lot. Maybe the way you run some of the plumbing for the oil and the radiator. But I think other than that, you should be good. So I don't think it would be, in terms of a switch over to a brand, it wouldn't be sort of the biggest deal in the world. And also RCR and Kaulig are in a really tight alliance with each other. They're on the same campus. You would have tons of drivers to go in that truck between the RCR and Kaulig drivers. So you would always have they call them bushwhackers back in the day in the Busch series, but I don't know what you call them in the truck series. Guys that come down just to make those races. Let's see here. Missed one during that cough. Richard Childress is never, ever going to sign Kyle. He hates Kyle. I don't know that he hates him. From what I've read, Moulton said that. From what I've read, they put that behind him and they've moved on. So I think they're actually okay. I think fans like to keep that going more than anything. Kimmy did an excellent job. Screw the 11 or something like that. I couldn't see who said that one. But, yeah, Kimi Räikkönen did a great job for sure. Unfortunately, his day was ending. Hopefully Jones will win Daytona, said Cassandra Keller. That would be awesome. That would really shake things up, I think. Ross Chastain is the water felon, not using his melon. Says John Lewis. So John Lewis is not Team Ross. I can't believe Chastain sent Dale into the fence in 2001. Shaking my head. Connor Brown with a little dark humor there. Mr. J, do you think NASCAR should start races at set times like 1 p.m., 4 p.m., and 7:30 p.m.? I don't know, man. They caught some bad luck with the rain. I was always a fan of a noon or 1 o'clock start time back in the day. Their reasoning for it is they want to get the West Coast market, but just about everybody that I talked to on here on the feed that's on the West Coast would actually prefer the early start time because they were used to waking up in the morning and watching the race, and then they could watch the rest of their sports the rest of the day. So I don't know necessarily that holds water. I think that the TV people are the people who are setting the start times. So as much as you want to blame NASCAR there, and you can blame NASCAR for not having control of it in the TV contract, but I think the TV times are being set, or the times are being set by the TV people. So yeah, I don't know. Childress knocked the heck out of Kyle once, said Sonny V. Yeah, he took his watch off and put him in a headlock and started wailing on him. 12 years ago, said Bumblebee. Yeah, like I said, from everything I've read, they've put it behind them and they're cool with each other. And even Richard said, I was embarrassed for doing that. I wish I hadn't done it. So I think they've put it behind them. I think they're cool now. I'm seeing a young Brad Keselowski with Ross. Yeah, he reminds me of a lot of young, aggressive guys, right? Someone said Kyle Chastain Chase. So I'm like, no, he was just racing, and Chase would have done the same. LOL. Yeah, like that was such a. It was a guy going for a win. Was it the cleanest pass in the world? No, but it wasn't necessarily the dirtiest. He doored him. It's a type of bump and run. At the end of the day, if you're on a short track, it would have been considered basically a bump and run. But if you're a Chase Elliott fan, of course you're mad. Your dude ran a good, clean race, and he had the win basically stolen from him at the end because he had the fastest car without a doubt. But at the end of the day, the fastest car doesn't win. It's the car that crosses the finish line first. And Kyle Larson at that moment felt like he had to do what he had to do, and he did what he had to do. And we've seen Chase Elliott do the same thing. So I guess a little bit questionable because they're teammates. But at the end of the day, I think that he's going to get paid back for sure by Chase Elliott. And when he gets paid back by Chase Elliott, I'm not going to cry about it because I'm sure as crap not sad that he won. So I mean, I'm just gonna say it like that. That's just the way I see it. And when Chase pays him back, Chase has every right to pay him back. Just like whenever Denny decides to pay Ross Chastain back for the 15th or 16th time, I understand where Denny's coming from with that too. So I'm cool with that. I want Robin Marks. I want to like Ross Chastain. I don't like Austin Dillon, but that was definitely Chastain pushing too hard. He needs to tone it down a notch without losing his aggression. It's a fine balance. Yeah, I mean, how do you tone it down? Like it's such a fine line. He'll figure it out. He'll calm down as he gets older, but I don't have a problem with the way he drives. If you like him, just go ahead and like him now, and just know that eventually he'll figure it out. They all figure it out. Even Denny Hamlin said that. He said, we all go through it. We all figure it out, even though he's still mad and in his mind needs to pay Ross Chastain back once or twice more. I don't think he feels like they're even. Molten Rage, I'm still salty about Jones, that he held up Cole on the restart and messed Cole up from getting the top 10. 11th could have been 10th if Jones didn't do that. Thanks, Jones. Thanks a lot. Well, yeah. But from Eric Jones's perspective, he's trying to get 10th place. Because he's trying to get that petty, he's trying to help build that petty GMS team back up, and good finishes like that pay more money. So, but once again, it was not a bad run for Cole Custer. It shows that as long as nothing weird like his car catches on fire or something like that, it gets in somebody else's wreck, has a mechanical failure, something blows up. Cole Custer has had good finishes when those things don't happen. He's had a snake bit year, and a lot of people are just having fun hating on him. Just because it's a trendy thing to do, sort of like saying Friends is an overrated TV show. It's more of a trendy thing to say amongst the younger generation than it is actual fact, or people that haven't even watched the show. They just know it's a trendy thing to say, so they say it. Same thing with Cole Custer. They know it's a trendy thing to pick on him right now, so they pick on him. People forget that Joey Coulter ran for KBM not long after the Richard Childress punching incident. Busch was racing Coulter hard, which led to the punch. Yeah, it started in the Truck Series, filtered through the Cup Series, and it was a long-going thing. It wasn't just that incident. It had been several incidents in a row, and it mostly was between Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch, but it did start in the Truck Series and boiled over. Did Ernie use his car intentionally as a bulldozer? Pretty sure Senior would have squashed that quickly. Ernie Irvan was definitely a really aggressive driver early on, and he actually ended up apologizing to the entire pits, I think at North Wilkesboro or Rockingham. He apologized to the whole pits, and then he calmed down, and everything was cool after that. So that's definitely some racing lore that is a fact. Bring back night races, stop revolving everything around football. Yeah, Angus 420. Yeah, that's a good point. I wish we got some type of TV contract that put NASCAR first so that we wouldn't have to worry about football or soccer or basketball or baseball or just whatever big sporting event that is that week that they seem to put NASCAR on hold for. Marty Ross isn't using his car as a bulldozer. He just had a bad habit of being where contact is, said Bumblebee. If you asked Ernie Irvan back before he gave that speech, he probably would have said they keep throwing it in reverse when I get behind them. That was a common joke back in the day amongst anybody who hit anybody. Tacoma 2, Richmond needs to go back to a night race. I agree. Having no Richmond night race this year was kind of terrible, and all the people who work for NASCAR and do mainstream NASCAR media had like an absolute throatful. I love this 2 daytime races at Richmond. That was such a, oh God, it was just so, I just wanted to be like, every time one of them said that, I'm like, this commercial paid for by NASCAR, because they were just so 100% sounding bought in those moments. Everybody wants a Richmond night race that is not being paid by NASCAR, and that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm in Idaho. I would get up early. I get up early for F1. Cassandra Keller. That's a good point. Everybody's waking up early to watch these F1 races. So I don't think it would be an issue for anybody West Coast or East Coast to wake up early to watch a NASCAR race. Like I think a lot of people actually appreciate watching the race early in the day, especially on a Sunday, right? Sunday, most people are winding it down, getting it ready for the work week. So I think getting the race over with earlier on a Sunday actually benefits people. Everywhere, not just on the West Coast. So I think a lot more people even on the East Coast would watch it if it started at noon, because like I've said, if it starts at noon and your football game starts at 2 or 4 o'clock, or if your football game starts even later than that, there's more likely of a chance that you'll watch the race if you're a multi-sport watching person. Mark Langren, missed your thoughts about Kurt Busch giving up his spot to Truex. I haven't gotten to it yet, Mark. But I am going to get to it here in a few minutes, probably about 2 or 3 more minutes from here. I'm going to jump into that next topic or whatever. What's up with Kurt giving up his spot to Martin Truex? Okay, you know what? That's 2 questions in a row. Let's just get into it now. First off, it's not necessarily confirmed yet that that's going to be what happens. That is only if Kurt Busch can't come back after this weekend at Daytona. If Kurt Busch can't make the next race, then 2311 would waive their waiver, I guess. They would not accept the waiver, and the next person up, as of right now, would be Martin Truex. However, golly, still fighting this thing a little bit. Sorry, guys. However, if somebody different wins the race, and this is what I want to know about the stipulation on the timeline as to when 2311 can announce whether or not they accept or decline this waiver. If somebody else wins, Martin Truex would be bumped out of the playoffs, and Ryan Blaney would be the next man up. So would they waive it then? What would happen then? That's a good question. Would they run it on owner's points and not take the waiver there, and then maybe do something crazy like put Martin Truex in the 45? Who knows? Or just keep running Ty Gibbs for points in the 45. However they would want to do that, I don't know. Like it gets really tricky. And the fact that you can sort of manipulate this for a manufacturer, NASCAR might want to look at this in the future and just be like, look, sorry for your luck if you miss more than X amount of races. I'm sorry you got hurt, but that's just the nature of it. And it would make sense. Like, first off, I'm not necessarily sure they could give a waiver now, and I'm not taking anything away from Kyle Busch the season he won his first championship. I'm not necessarily sure you should give a waiver because somebody gets hurt, because you see in other sports, if somebody gets hurt, like if Tom Brady gets hurt, some really good football player gets hurt, they don't postpone their games until that guy gets better. So a driver is a big part of a team, probably the face of the team. But just because a driver gets hurt doesn't necessarily mean NASCAR should give waivers, if that makes any sense. So the waiver itself is controversial, in my opinion. And then the fact that the waiver can now be manipulated possibly to Toyota's favor. Also, you're getting into some controversy there. So going forward, they've given them the waiver now, so there's nothing you can do about it. But going forward, I think we need to look at the fact of do we need to give waivers? Should we give waivers? That's a good question. I think that should be asked. I don't know, just a hard thing to sort of figure out. But I don't know. As of when I signed on here, I hadn't seen anything where 2311 said they're going to take or not take the waiver. Bubba Wallace will finish top 10 this weekend at Daytona, said Marquis Vegan. Yeah, Bubba Wallace is one of the best plate track racers, super speedway racers. He definitely will be up in the mix. There's no doubt about it. If not win, because he's got some crazy statistic where he finished second or something like that in all of these plate races recently. He's got some crazy statistic. They were talking about it the other day. I can't remember what it is. But yeah, he will definitely be good. And just to cap off the whole thing, if they essentially do this to get Martin Truex into the playoffs, and then somebody wins and Martin Truex gets bumped anyway, now you've lost the car you could have had in it. So there is a risk either way, but it depends on when they can make that decision. Like, if they can wait till this race is over and then make a decision, that's definitely giving them too much power to manipulate how the deal goes down, in my opinion. So I think they should make the decision before the race starts. Before the race starts, they should have to make their decision as to whether or not they are going to use that waiver. I guess that's the best way for me to put it. But I'm not necessarily in love with the waiver itself. I think it made sense for Kyle Busch back in the day, but now I don't think it makes sense anymore. And I think they should probably do away with the waivers. Sorry, I'm far behind here, so I'm scrolling down. Sorry if I missed some of these. I'm gonna try to catch back up here. Let's see. Kurt needs to make the decision to give up the waiver before Daytona. Mark Barnum. Okay, so Mark's on board with it. If Ford doesn't pick up Kyle Busch, it'll be like when they missed out on Kyle Larson because Ford didn't want involvement with something. Yeah, so that's a little bit of a different situation, but Kyle Busch does have a personality. So, yeah, that would be Ford missing out on two top-tier guys back-to-back. Mark Johnson with that comment. Robin Marks, do you guys have Fisherman's Friends cough drops in the States? We do, and I've gone through at least one bag of them. I'm down to the Halls honey, but I've ran out of those too. I actually left them in my truck, and I'm not walking all the way out there to my truck to get them. I'm just going to fight through it with this water here. But those fisherman cough drops are definitely the bomb, Robin Marks, no doubt about it. So if you ever have a cough, they're called Fisherman's Friends. They're cough drops, and they are really, really effective. My dad put me on to them a long time ago. Rich L, Chris R, as I said earlier about the same thing. I don't feel Kyle owed anything. I said it was racing. I like both drivers, but they aren't my drivers. Chase would have done the same. Rich L said that. I pretty much agree with that comment. Talking about the Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott deal, I think both drivers would have done something pretty similar. Like, I'm not going to complain if Chase Elliott pays back Kyle Larson. I'm not going to cry about that. If he feels he needs to do that, he feels he needs to do that. Mark Langren, sorry if you're not medically cleared, you're out. Yeah, like I'm not a fan necessarily of the waiver. Sterling Marlin broke his neck leading the points, cost him his best chance at a cup, said Robert Stone. So, yeah, there's a situation where a guy didn't get a waiver, right? Old cup system points. A guy didn't get a waiver, and he had a good chance of winning the championship that year if he had gotten some type of waiver, or if they had just given him some points for not showing up or something. However you would have done it under that point system. Angus 420, the cheating Yoders. I don't think they're necessarily cheating Yoders. I don't buy into that. I don't think they cheat any more than Hendrick or Penske or anybody else cheats. I think all the really good teams find ways to play in the gray area. I'm not going to say they necessarily cheat, but they try to find ways to play in the gray area. Bumblebee said, I still think McDowell is going to be an underdog favorite to win Saturday night. He's just been so sneakily strong all year, as good as the whole front row team was at the Glen. I feel they'll be strong. Yeah, front row has really turned the corner ever since they hired Blake Harris. Him and Michael McDowell seem to be on the same page, and that 34 car has absolutely been on fire all season. After maybe the first 6 races. After the first 6 races, they found something, and they've been right there with everybody. I would not be surprised at all to see Michael McDowell win that race, and Blake Harris would be back for the playoffs. So if that happens, that could really shake things up as well. I now live in the Mountain Time Zone, but I lived in the Pacific Time Zone for many years. I personally never had a problem with the early start times for NASCAR races. NFL games start at 10 a.m. on Sundays, said Rich Smith. I agree with you 100%. I think it's just an excuse they're using as a cop-out to let the TV companies run the races at whatever time they want to run them. So, the TV companies are paying big money to run the races, so it's their prerogative, but definitely I wish they would listen to the fans. They never seem to listen to us. I wish they would listen to the fans and just run the races at 1 o'clock or noon. Something like that. I remember the latest start time back in the day was like 2 o'clock. That was like a late start time. Now that's considered a really early start time. So I just wish they would. I'm with you. I wish they would start the races early, especially because they're on Sundays. Saturdays you can run a night race, but it does affect your local short tracks. That was always the argument about why they didn't have too many Saturday night races. Plus he has to win to make it, says Bumblebee. Oh yeah, talking about McDowell for sure. Cassandra Keller says she agrees. I think Truex misses the playoffs this year, says Douglas Serrano. It's hard to say. If somebody, he will definitely, no matter what happens, well, no, he would still get in, I guess, if they pulled Kurt. So I don't know. If somebody different would have to win Daytona, and then 2311 would have to keep the charter, I guess, or something. I don't know. I don't know. It gets wonky, but there's a good chance he misses it, and he's 4th place in points. So hopefully, if he misses it this year, the Truex fans raise enough sand that we get the playoff system changed a little bit. Chad Huffman says, I agree with you. Do away with the waivers. Yeah. The more you think about the waiver, the less sense it makes. And they're just doing it. They're just doing the waiver stuff 100% because they want to get big names in the playoffs. So the waiver thing, in my opinion, they need to get rid of after this season. They've already said that Kurt Busch can have a waiver, so they should let Kurt Busch have the waiver. But that being said, the waiver is not the biggest deal in the world, but it really doesn't make any sense because they don't do any type of waiver or anything like that in any other type of sport, motorsport, or any other type of competition. You don't get a waiver because you had bad luck and sustained some type of injury. Bumblebee, I really thought Michael McDowell had Sunday's race in the bag. That tag he took from Reddick really messed him up, said Rich L. Yeah, he wasn't the same after that. If it had kept raining that race, for sure. If it had just kept raining during that race, I think 100% he would have won that race. Or if it just rained for a longer time, if they had started the race earlier and it rained for a longer time, or if they started the race at 1 o'clock and the rain came toward the end of the race, I think he would have won that race because he was definitely heads and shoulders above everybody at that track in the rain. Bumblebee, the track drying didn't help him either. Bumblebee agreeing with me there. Where did you get those cough drops, Cassandra Keller? I get mine at CVS. Sometimes Target or Walmart carry them too, but CVS usually always has them. Douglas Serrano, if Wallace wins Daytona, both Blaney and Truex are out and miss the playoffs this year. Oh yeah, that's a good point, Douglas Serrano. So if Bubba Wallace wins, that means both 2311 cars would be in. And at that point, I think they would keep the waiver no matter what, and whoever they had to put in the car, they would put in the car if Kurt Busch can't make it back. That being said, let me say this, just so nobody takes it the wrong way. I hope Kurt Busch is back. I hope Kurt Busch is okay. My main concern is Kurt Busch being okay. I could care less about the waiver as far as that goes. As far as order of importance there, I hope Kurt Busch is okay. That's the much bigger deal. So I definitely want to get that out there just in case somebody's new to the channel. Don't think I'm just talking about the waiver. I'm much more concerned about Kurt Busch's health than anything else. Chris R. and me neither. I mean, to me, it's just great racing and it brings out champions, all of them. Oh, okay. Talking about the Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott deal there. To me, it was just a racing incident. It's a little rough to watch because Chase Elliott had run a clean race. He was the fastest car by far. That being said, if you get a chance, and sorry I'm coughing, guys, doing the best I can. But that being said, if you get a chance to win the race, you've got to take the chance to win the race. It is on you to help your team because if you don't help your team win the race, they'll stop giving you maximum effort at the shop, and I will stick by that statement. I don't think Larson needs to apologize to Elliott. Yeah, I don't think anybody needs to apologize. Chase Elliott doesn't need to apologize for being upset. If you lose a race and you're not upset, I'm more worried about you for not being upset for losing a race. The way I look at it, both drivers, the way they acted after the race, I don't have a problem with it. And if Chase Elliott feels he needs to pay Kyle Larson back, I don't have a problem with that. And I'm the biggest Kyle Larson fan you will ever meet. I'm not going to cry about it, and I'm certainly not going to be sad that he won that race either. So if he gets paid back, I understand it, and I'm not going to cry about it. Bubba will be in the playoffs if he wins, said Marquis Vegan. Yeah, for sure. If Bubba wins the race, he will definitely be in the playoffs. Love the content. Keep it up, buddy. You're awesome. Thanks, Chris R. I appreciate it. I hope McDowell wins this weekend and Kurt gives up his waiver, said Mark Marnham. Yeah, so that would definitely shake things up. So that would bump in this situation, as the points currently stand now, if Martin Truex can't get in front of Ryan Blaney in points, as it stands now, if that happens, that would bump out Truex, and then Ryan Blaney would be the next man up. The 34 is smoking hot this year, said Cassandra Keller. No doubt about it. He's been heads and shoulders above where he normally has been. I've been anticipating the judgment call for Busch. It really ain't fair that someone holds out a spot for 16. Yeah, it's a rough situation. I understand where NASCAR is coming from with the waiver. He won a race. If you win a race, you're supposed to be in the playoffs. But that being said, is it fair to the other drivers that you're holding a spot for somebody because of this playoff system? And that's just something else you need to think about with the playoff system. Maybe they need to put in a rule and stick with it that you have to run all the races or something. I don't know. They need, or you have to finish above 30th in points to keep your playoff spot. There should be no waiver. There should be some set rule, some set guideline for how this plays out. There should be no more waivers. They need to look at their rule book going forward with this so that there's no more waivers, because a waiver is not necessarily fair to these other drivers, especially in a situation like this. Going forward, maybe take a look at that rule and just put some hard rules in there where, like, you don't have to run. You can run 2 races if you want to, but you have to finish above 30th in points, and you have to have a win to get into the playoffs, as long as there aren't 17 other drivers, So there should be just a good standard set rule, and get rid of the waivers and just stick with a rule. That would be probably the best thing to do. Gray area has been in racing since forever, said Mark Langren, talking about the cheating part, the cheating Yoders. JD, the media is expecting him to say he was at fault. Media needs to chill. Yeah. The media always is trying to spin a story. No worries there. Anytime they can get a hold of a story and try to spin it, that's how they sell advertisement space is with traffic and clicks and views. In the Midwest, football games start at noon and 3 p.m., said Mark Barnum. So, yeah, there you go. I don't think anybody would have a problem with that if they started a race before them or at the same time, because then you could still catch the later games for sure. So, like, if you started a race at 12 o'clock, you would catch all of the 3 p.m. game, or at least most of it. most races, as long as it's, not one of those races that goes on forever with 1,000 wrecks. Who you thinking will win the championship, says Marquis Vegan. Right now, you have to look at Chase Elliott. He's been the most consistent. Ross Chastain was giving him a run for his money. He's cooled off in the last 3 or 4 races, but I fully expect him to be right back up there. No doubt about it. I think you also, finally, I can say it, you have to put Kyle Larson in there because Kyle Larson has heated up the last 5 or 6 races. And I like what Kevin Harvick has showed the last few races. Very loosely, that would be who I put in there. Also, I don't think you can count out Denny Hamlin. And big if he makes the playoffs, I could see him getting on a hot streak. But you always have to put a Penske driver in there. And I like Ryan Blaney. And if Ryan Blaney doesn't make it, then circle in there the 22 of Joey Logano. I think you always have to at least have a Penske driver in there because Penske seems to have their whole season set up around the last 10 races, and they pick 4 or 5 races at the very beginning of the season to get their cars locked in. They spend the rest of their season doing R&D. I have noticed that about Penske the last few years. I don't know for sure that's what they're doing, but it looks like to me that that's what they do, and that makes sense to me. That being said, Ryan Blaney needs to get a win, or hopefully for him, if you're a Ryan Blaney fan, nobody new wins a race and he gets into the playoffs. Douglas Serrano said, Marquis Vegan, despite him having a tough season, I want Denny to win the championship. So there's Douglas Serrano. There's a vote for Denny. Cassandra Keller, it's Kurt's waiver. Should not go to another driver to be in. So it is Kurt's waiver, but if 2311 decides to decline the waiver, that's how another driver would get in. It wouldn't necessarily go to another driver. I don't know how anything else would go. I don't know for sure that they could put another driver in there with the waiver. I don't know how that would play out. I'm not sure. I don't know if NASCAR's even been over those rules about that yet. So I don't know. I don't think they can put another driver in for the waiver. But I think for owners' championship points, they could still keep the waiver for owners' championship points because those are 2 separate things. Driver points and owner points are two separate things there. So that might be a situation where they accept the owner points and then drop the driver waiver or whatever. That would be great for 2311. Yeah, for sure. So if Bubba wins, I think they would definitely keep the waiver as long as Kurt Busch was able to drive, because then you've got 2 2311 drivers in there. So no doubt in that situation, I would see them definitely keeping the waiver if Bubba Wallace wins. But that being said, I don't know if they can make that decision after the race is over with. They might have to make that decision before the race starts. It's so many things up in the air. It's just very unclear about the rules for this waiver. I don't know. I wish they'd get rid of road course stage cautions. I wish they would get rid of stage cautions, period. Those cautions change the dynamic of road course racing strategy so much, said David Bibb. I agree with you. I think if you didn't have that guaranteed caution, you would have seen a lot of guys stay on those wet weather tires, or that wet weather tire strategy would have been totally different if they knew a caution wasn't for sure coming. I think it would have added a whole different layer of strategy to that race. Corey Lajo says, just think of this: front row, Petty, GMS, Almirola, Bubba, Justin, Austin D, Custer, Stenhouse, Busher, Brad K, Harrison Burton. All these guys are going to be a threat. Blaney better hope for a repeat. Absolutely. So that's the other thing. You can't sleep on Blaney at a road course. It's going to be insane. Everybody's going to be going for it. Everybody has a chance. Everybody above 30th in points has a chance to get into the playoffs. So who knows, man? It's going to be crazy. Repeat winner, says Corey LaJoe. That's the thing that's going to save Blaney for sure. I see what you're saying. Better hope for a repeat winner. I got what you're saying. Jermaine Boyd, what's up, dude? Chris R, hey buddy, get the feeling better. I'm doing my best. Hopefully I get this stuff out of my lungs and I'll be good to go after that. I feel pretty good. I just got some buildup in my lungs, and hopefully that cycles out. Kyle got through under the bus so the grandson could race at the highest level in case Paul passes on, says Michael Messer. Well, I think the plan was always for Ty Gibbs to move up. One of those drivers was going to be on the short end of the stick, whether it be Truex or Denny Hamlin or Kyle Busch. And it appears to be that Kyle Busch was, what is it, musical chairs? When the music stopped, Kyle Busch looks like, if the rumors are true, I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying according to Door Bumper Clear, looks like when the music stopped, Kyle Busch was the guy without a seat. Unfortunately for him, but might not be unfortunately for him if he gets with one of those teams and has a rebirth. We definitely saw Kevin Harvick have a rebirth when he got to a new team. So you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes you just need a new environment and some new motivation. And we definitely seen a motivated Kyle Busch. He's a tough guy to beat. Hendrick Keith said in terms when it's between mad drivers, Mark Langren. I'm not following that one. That's my boy Kurt. The whole thing frustrates me because the car was at fault. So it's NASCAR's fault for not having a car. Yeah, that's a good point too. So I should definitely bring that up. They definitely need to put some crumple zones or some type of impact dissipation units or something in these cars to take away that impact that is going straight to the driver. No doubt about it. Cal Tiki, what's up? 3 bologna burgers and definitely put some jalapenos on them, Cal. No doubt about it. Michael Brewer, I appreciate your 2 cents worth comments, better than most everyone else. I appreciate it, Michael Brewer. Not everybody loves them, so I'm glad somebody does. BB, did you take the tests? That cough sounded bad. In fact, Rich, I spent $80 on tests, and I have yet to have one that says that shows the 2 yellow bars saying positive. So it just appears to be acute bronchitis. And I had a buddy who has had both, and he said you probably would wish you got with everything going on right now as opposed to acute bronchitis, he said, because the acute bronchitis he had was actually worse than the 19 that he had. So, yeah, but I have tested myself, Rich, for sure. That is not what it is. Don't worry. I thought it was too. I was super concerned, but we're good. It is not that for sure. If you're a Chase fan, Larson messed his teammate over. If you're a Larson fan, one more for young money, said Mark Wachowski. That's probably the best way to say it. It just depends on who you pull for, right? And if you pull for both of them, you're just kind of like, well, it's good we won, but man, that sucks. The other guy. So that's sort of I think that's the 3 perspectives. And if you're a Joe Gibbs fan, I think you're just laughing because there's turmoil over at Hendrick, and for once somebody's not talking about the turmoil at Joe Gibbs Racing for not having Kyle Busch signed yet. So for once, the bad news is not over on your team. Mr. Hendrick won't allow these 2 wrecking each other, moving each other to win. Yes, flat out wrecking. No. It's going to be another friendly, media-driven Johnson versus Gordon rivalry. That's fair. I think that's pretty much what it'll play out to be. Look, you got 2 guys that are really at the top of their game right now, and they're both racing for the same team. It was bound to happen eventually. I talked about it 2 or 3 times last year. I said this has a potential to be one of the best rivalries for the next decade. So I definitely could see that being really good. The waiver gave to KB a fake championship, says X dude 2X. A lot of people feel that way. I don't know. It happened so early in the season. I feel like Kyle Busch's championship is as legitimate a championship in the playoff area as a playoff era championship is going to be. Everybody had the same rules at the beginning of the season. They gave him the waiver. He's the champion. But definitely a lot of people were not happy that he got that waiver and got that championship. That definitely sets off a lot of people. But he played by the rules in front of him. Did NASCAR bend the rules for Joe Gibbs Racing? That's an argument you can make. I'm not going to get into that because I don't ever want to think what NASCAR is thinking. Because if I start thinking like NASCAR, I might be crazy as they are. I'm right there with you. I'm a Kyle Larson fan. But, man, McDowell and even Eric Jones is very impressive above the normal names. I mean, they deserve it also. Give it the next year. They will be winning. Chris R. Yeah, hopefully both of those teams can keep the momentum going and they become winning teams going forward. So you don't have this glut of just Hendrick and Joe Gibbs Racing and Penske hogging all the wins. Like there's more wins spread throughout the field. And this season, you've seen it. There's been more wins spread throughout the field, especially with Trackhouse emerging and being a really good team. 23-11, I got another win. So that's back-to-back years at 23-11 has had a win. So I think it's good, and if more teams like that can get wins, RCR's got 2 wins this season. So when's the last time RCR had 2 wins? So I think it's definitely just a really good deal, and that's one of the really great things about this new car so far. It is let everybody at least have a chance to win some races, and I think that Petty GMS will definitely be a lot better next year because I read a story where they just now got a Eagle Eye system or a Hawkeye system or whatever that laser measuring thing is. So that means all of the good runs they had previous to this year was without that Hawkeye or Eagle Eye system. And that's just insane to me. So like they didn't even know where they had margins of error that they could play with. Oh man, that to me is just so insane. But now that they have one of those systems, I think you'll see some marked improvement going forward for Petty GMS. And I'm sure Front Row is a very similar situation because every year they seem to get better. They just keep building and building and building. And I think the combination of Blake Harris and Michael McDowell is just one of those combinations where 2 guys are gelled as a team. And I think you're going to see some good results from them going forward. I remember hearing about DW spinning in his own buckshot pellets at Bristol. Said Bumblebee, yeah, he had like a little release valve and they let the pellets come out of the car. Unfortunately, they put the number of the car on there. So that was ballast gate, and that is why we have big ballast rules now. Also, if a piece of ballast comes out, that would be a really bad day if it went through somebody's window. So ballast rules are very important. Did Jack Sprague deserve a cup ride with Hendrick? It seems like Sprague got passed over in the late 90s and early 2000s. He got 1 year in the Net Zero number 0 car, and he backed that thing into the fence a bunch of times, or it might not even have been a full year. But I think the last 3 or 4 races, they took him out of the car. He did get a chance at Cup, but they were not patient with him. He really reminded me of Travis Voppel. Travis Voppel only got like 1 year with Penske, and I thought that was kind of crappy because Travis Voppel, he was so good in the Truck Series. I think if they had given him a few years at Penske, but it's the way the game goes sometimes. Financially, it's a big deal in the sport. So I think, did he deserve a ride? Yeah, he got a ride. Did he deserve to have that ride longer? Yeah, I think he deserved to at least be there 2 or 3 years to see what he could do. But they didn't give him that length of time there. It's a very similar situation with Travis Voppel. Travis Voppel's a heck of a race car driver. Both of his sons are really good race car drivers. Carson Voppel actually drives for, I almost said DEI, for Junior Motorsports right now in the Cars Tour, which is late model series. So he'll probably be a guy moving up here pretty soon. He's a very good late model driver, and I think you're going to see him moving up soon. I think he won the Super Late Model Championship. He's working on trying to win a late model championship in the Cars Tour, so he might be the next guy you see moving up. And I wish AJ truthfully had another real shot at Cup again. Chris R, that's another good guy. We're talking about guys that didn't get like the greatest shot in the world. AJ got some shots in equipment that wasn't great, and then when he finally got to Penske, he had I guess he took a supplement or whatever and had the failed test, or he did something stupid and failed the test. Who knows what really happened there? But either way, he's been good ever since then and has never gotten another chance full-time in good equipment. So that's unfortunate. Let's see. Rich L said squash it. I think they'll squash it too, Rich L. I think they've been friends. You've seen Chase Elliott race dirt for Kyle Larson. I think they'll put it behind him. Maybe not immediately, but I think they'll put it behind them eventually. I think they'll be all right. This year with this car, the championship could be anyone, said Cassandra Keller. I agree with that. That's any year with the playoff system, in my opinion. If Kurt doesn't drive next week, it will be John Hunter Nemechek, said Carmzilla. I could see that happening. I'm sure NASCAR has had talks with the rookie eligibility of Ty Gibbs, which I think is important to them. As part of your marketing tool for a young driver, you want him to have a chance to win the Rookie of the Year so that when you're going for sponsors, you can say, hey, this guy won Rookie of the Year. He's won this. He's won that. It's just one of those things you put on your resume when you're looking at sponsors. Be like, hey, sponsor this guy. He's a winner. Do you want your product to be represented by a winner? Mark Barnum said his final 4 are the 9, the 5, the 22, and the 4. Those are good, solid picks. Very similar to the picks I had. like I said, I would throw also the 11. And if he makes the playoffs, I would throw the 12 in there. And also, you can't count out Ross Chastain because he has had a solid season. I think Kurt Busch will be back for the playoffs. I feel like he will be cleared by doctors, said Cassandra Keller. That's what I'm hoping. That way we don't have to worry about waivers and this and that and the other thing. So, like that would just be a bad situation if they turned down the waiver because Kurt Busch couldn't come back. That just would be a sticky situation. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Mark Langren, no 22 in the Final Four. When I was talking about my Final Four picks, what happens if the 45 wins with Ty Gibbs? It would be I said Gatorade 157. It would be a similar situation to when it would be the exact same situation actually as when Kaulig won with AJ Allmendinger. AJ Allmendinger is declared for Xfinity points, so any wins he gets in cups, he gets all the money, but he doesn't get any of the points. So it wouldn't change anything as far as the points go. It would just be a win by a driver who didn't score any points. So the next person in line, I guess, would get points, and all the winning points would be gone for that race. NASCAR makes its consistent, inconsistent, unprecedented call if Kurt has to sit out, said Speedway Anywhere. Yeah, it's just the whole waiver deal. It's just not a good idea. And I'm not taking anything away, once again, from Kyle Busch. He won the championship under the rules that he was under. Everybody had the same rules that season. But that being said, I'm not a fan of the waiver. You don't get a waiver in any other sport if you get hurt. I don't see where NASCAR should be any different, but I understand why they do it. They want to get your biggest stars in the race. But to me, that feels like NASCAR, the organization, manipulating results. But NASCAR is going to do what NASCAR is going to NASCAR, right? NASCAR is going to do what NASCAR wants to do. Moulton says, screw it. I want to playoff chaos. 12 and the 19 doesn't make it to the 31 wins. Daytona makes the playoffs. 12, who was second in points, to hell with that 19th, fifth in points. Who the hell is that? Sarcasm from Moulton. Yes, I think a lot of people are frustrated with the playoff system, especially this season, because so many good drivers are going to miss it. For guys who have one win and haven't necessarily had the best season outside of that one win. So it's a tough situation. It's a tough point system to deal with. Cassandra Keller said Daytona is going to be insane. I don't want to see a Newman wreck, though. That is a big concern. Like, everybody is super hyped up about how intense and how basically wreck field we think Daytona is going to be. That being said, I don't want to see anybody get hurt. So hopefully they do drive aggressively, but they drive with some type of sense that they don't put somebody in a terrible situation like that. So hopefully it's a good, clean race from that perspective. Get rid of the highest paid driver, said Philip Canavan. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I guess he's talking about the waiver there. Like, you don't want to get rid of the highest paid driver. I don't know. I don't know necessarily where you're coming from on that. Are you talking about JGR is getting rid of the highest paid driver, so it makes financial sense? That definitely makes financial sense. So I can see where they're going. See why they're doing it from that perspective. No doubt about it. Hopefully I answered your question there. Kyle Busch at Watkins Glen. Screw this team. Screw this top 10. I want another 32nd place finish, said Corey LeJoe. Excuse me. Yeah. I don't know. He just had bad luck. He at least was one of the Toyotas that was pushing it and wasn't worried about the engine blowing up. If what Door Bumper Clear says is true, maybe he was pushing it just because he knew he wasn't going to be there and he wasn't worried about the engine blowing up. So that adds another layer to that dynamic as well. Kyle Busch seems to be friendly in his interviews lately. Said Brian, maybe he's minding his P's and Q's, trying to get a new deal, or maybe it's just a weight off of his shoulders because he has a deal and they haven't announced it. Who knows? The car is a newer type over the older one. Gibbs car making them win. The Gibbs cars have been fast recently, except for the road courses. The road courses have been a struggle for Toyota, no doubt about it. Hendrick keeps their arguments between drivers in-house, not in public, said Mark Langren. Yeah, I agree with that. They're definitely an organization like that. I guess the New England Patriots would be the first thing that comes to mind. New York Yankees. You don't see a lot of out of the house bickering. They keep it all in house. You never know what's actually going on inside those walls. It sort of adds to the mystique of all of those organizations I just mentioned. The Patriots, we still don't know who Bill Belichick is. Like Hendrick, one of the criticisms of Hendrick is actually that you don't know who the drivers are because they have very vanilla personalities in public, in front of a camera. You might see them, I don't know. You might see them out in public somewhere, and they might be totally different. But that's been a criticism of Hendrick is that their drivers act professional all the time, and you don't get to see their personality. That certainly is a criticism I had of Jimmy Johnson before he got on Twitter, because I was like, the dude has won 7 championships, and I feel like I don't know anything about him aside from the fact that he is from California and he used to race Baja trucks. And they covered up a golfing incident where he fell off the top of a golf cart when he had been overserved and broke his wrists one of those years. Let's see. Need a lottery when the big one happens with how desperate these drivers are. Yeah, that's definitely how Daytona is. I think it's definitely going to be whoever can survive the big one and finish the race. I got to be honest, I have drivers I like, but no real favorites to speak of. I just like seeing good blank racing, said Doug Robinson. No doubt about it, man. I like that perspective. Ever since until Kyle Larson came in there, I was kind of the same way. I pull for Petty GMS now is what they're called, and RCR. I was just pulling for 2 teams. Then my first name's Kyle. When Kyle Larson came in there, I started pulling for him. Truth be told, I pull for Kyle Busch too, just because his first name's Kyle. But I'm not necessarily in love with everything he says on the microphone. I know a lot of people just are like, unsubscribe. He pulls for Kyle Busch. We hate him. But I just like him because his first name's Kyle. I was named after Kyle Petty. So when the Kyles came in there and they were actually good, Kyle Petty was good early in his career, but his later career was not good. So I was happy to have 2 Kyles I could pull for. I pull for Kyle Weatherman too, just to be totally fair and honest about it. So anybody named Kyle I pull for. For a long time I was in that same boat. That was the point of what I was saying there. I was just sort of pulling for a good race, just happy with whoever won, as long as it was a good race. So I see where you're coming from there. Go back to points racing instead of the playoffs. This would never happen in points racing, said Hoghead Morgan. No doubt about it. People would race with a lot more respect if season-long points were tallied up. I agree with that 100%. And some people might not like that. There's a lot of people that like the playoffs because of the aggressive racing. So it's tit for tat. I personally like season-long points for the personal reason of you can more closely compare past champions to current champions with season-long points. So that's why I like that. Even though in the past there have been different point systems, they've all been season-long points until the playoff format came about in 2004, I think maybe was the first playoff. HMS modified the hubs and got away with it. Penske, RFK modified the wheels, got fined. Both parts are vendor parts. So according to the rule book, you aren't allowed to modify them, but HMS was allowed. Molten Rage talking about. So that's been the story with NASCAR all season. Some teams get away with stuff. Some teams don't get away with stuff. We're never, ever surprised at which teams get away with stuff. That's the sad part about it. But some teams get hit like way harder than others. When Front Row Racing got caught with something, was there any doubt in anybody's mind that they were going to get hit with a penalty? So, I mean, it's just one of those deals. That being said, Joe Gibbs Racing, one of the bigger teams, they were hit with a good-sized penalty by having those race wins taken away and that second place from Kyle Busch taken away. So occasionally NASCAR will put the kibosh on a bigger team, but it's very rare. So I guess when the offering plate was passed out, Toyota didn't put their money in that week, so they got the thumb pushed on them as far as big teams, because that's what everybody says. The big teams just pay off NASCAR so they don't get penalized. So I'm just playing into that mindset or that perception or whatever. But I don't know. But occasionally they will hit a big team, but it's few and far in between. Never count Rowdy out. I agree with that. Kyle Busch is always a threat. Ty Gibbs showed his lack of maturity and judgment again on Saturday in Xfinity. I said Mark Barnum, he was just a guy going for the win. I'm not gonna sit there and bash on him for that. Was it a stupid move? Somewhat, but he was going for the win. William Byron wrecked him when they were trying to catch back up to the field after the spin. So William Byron's certainly not happy, and you can understand where William Byron's coming from too. So that was interesting. But it was just a guy going for the win. He's a young kid. I don't think it was dirty so much as he was trying. It wasn't necessarily a dirty move so much as it was a young guy who didn't know that there was no chance in the world that was going to work. I think it was one of those situations. If you want to bash on him for Martinsville, he definitely showed a lack of maturity there. But he's been pretty smart about it ever since then. Oh man, I just think Daytona is a regular season finale. This race will be the most chaotic race when they go green. These drivers are going to be pushing and shoving from the start, leading to a couple of big ones. Oh man, I agree with you. I think Daytona is going to be insane. Definitely the last stage will be insane, and the close to the stages will also possibly be insane, but I don't know that they will be super crazy because stage points won't really matter. So I don't know. I know Mr. H in an older race, both cars took each other out on the short track, and Mr. H had a bad look on his face after that. That's any car owner when his car gets wrecked. So, or when his two drivers take each other out. So there's no doubt in my mind he wasn't happy. I'm sure he was happy for getting a win this weekend, but I'm sure he wasn't happy about the way it all the way played out. And Kyle Larson said he did a lot of listening in the weekly interview, so it sounded like a lot of people were talking at him. So it is what it is. I don't think it'll be a huge deal going forward, though. If Kaulig Racing does pick up Kyle, I wonder if part of the deal would be switching manufacturers from Chevy to Toyota. ANC said that. I really doubt that because as of right now, Toyota doesn't want to spend money on Kyle Busch. So I don't see them spending money to build Kaulig a racing facility because right now Kaulig's racing facility is on the RCR campus. Kaulig and RCR are basically, in my opinion, the same team because they're all built at the same place. They all basically share information. So I don't think they would switch manufacturers to sign Kyle Busch. I think they're locked in with Chevrolet and whatever Richard Childress Racing wants to do. A lot of people talking about what happens when Richard Childress passes the company on. I think one of the situations is you could see them merge with Kaulig where it would be RCR Kaulig. And it would be run sort of by the Dillons and by Matt Kaulig when he decides he wants to step down. If he sold out to anybody, that's a big if. But a lot of people are like, what's going to happen when he steps down? That's one scenario. The other scenario, he just hands it over to the Dillons, Mike Dillon, and lets Mike Dillon run it day to day. He's been grooming him for a long time to do that. Blaney and Truex better hope they aren't involved in those big ones. I agree with that 100%, Corey LeJoe. Rich L's agreeing with Paul there. Paul Sayers says he 52 here, but yes, hit that thumbs up, Bones, for sure. If you guys want to hit the thumbs up button, I would really appreciate that. It helps it out a whole lot. I don't know how the YouTube algorithm works, but I know hitting the like button helps a lot. Or if you're an Iceberg fan, lick that like button. I would appreciate that as well. It's raining at my house, for the 1,000th time, says Molten Rage. Yes, summertime. A lot of showers in the summertime for sure. Bones with a thumbs up. Rich L doing it for me. Y'all like the stream and consider subbing to the channel. One of the best NASCAR channels on YouTube. Appreciate it, Rich. Really appreciate the kind words there. Brian Vickers had a bright future, I feel like, said Dakota Henderson. Yeah, he had the medical situation, the blood clots, no doubt about it. Brian was like Truex. They only got better with age, no doubt about that. They definitely I hate it for Brian. I hate it. He had the blood clots, and then his wife's situation, which I'm not going to get into because you can't talk about that stuff on YouTube. His wife's situation, you can Google it if you want to. I think Danny B's made a video about it. Check out Danny B's video on Brian Vickers if you want to know more about that, if you don't know what I'm talking about. But you can check that out if you want to. I want a Ford Chevrolet Final Four, says Chris Davis. So Chris Davis, the Chevrolet man. I don't know. I want the guys I like to win, but I really, more than anything, I just want a really good Final Four and a good playoffs. Brian said he's going with the 1, the 5, the 9, and the 11. Those are good, solid picks. I like them, Brian. Rich L, come on, man. Pump the crowd up. tell those boomers about the like button. Mod man, LOL, said Dwayne Mansell. So Dwayne Mansell, appreciate the love there. Pumping up Rich L, the admin there. All I'm going to say is Denny Hamlin and Coach Gibbs better talk before Daytona, or else it won't be pretty if it comes down to Bubba, Truex, and Hamlin in third. Who was pushing to make it clear that, oh man, good point, Corey LeJoe. That really could be an interesting situation. Oh man, I hadn't even thought about that, but golly, who would Denny Hamlin push in that situation? Man, that's a really, really, really good question. Let's see here. Would he push Martin Truex? I don't know. First poll. All right, there we go. The poll is up. Who would he push if it was the last lap and Truex was in second, Bubba was in third, and Denny Hamlin was behind him? Who would they push? Who would he push to the win there? We will let that go and see what happens. I'm not going to give my opinion on it until after, because I don't want to influence the poll. But I've got in my mind who I think Denny Hamlin would push in that situation. So I don't know. Rich L, I'm probably the oldest guy here. NASCAR should offer guaranteed rides for a couple of races for Xfinity champs like IndyCar does and the Indy Lights champ. I think they're sort of getting to that, Dakota Henderson. I think that's sort of Kaulig and Project 91 with Trackhouse. I think you're going to see some situations like that with former NASCAR champions, as well as what Trackhouse is doing with international champions, because Trackhouse has said they're open to Jimmy Johnson coming back and running for them. So I think you could see some past NASCAR champions if they would like to come back and do something. Do you really think North Wilkesboro had an honest shot at something, even if an all-star race or dirt or whatever is on the schedule? I mean, trying and have some high-profile names behind it now. Oh, yeah, I think they got a great shot. It's going to be a few years down the road, Chris R. It's not going to be next year. It's probably going to be 2025, 2026, somewhere in there. But I think before that, they will get a truck race or maybe an Xfinity race or something like that. But they could definitely get a, I don't know what you would call it, like an invitational race or something, some race that might not necessarily count for points at first. But I think once everybody sees how well North Wilkesboro races, I think that in the future that they would get a ton of races. Because if you just go back on YouTube and watch some of the older races at North Wilkesboro, they're fairly competitive, and guys are usually moving each other for wins. You can look at the 1989 North Wilkesboro race, and I think the 1987 or 86. Both of those I'm talking about, it was Ricky Rudd and Dale Earnhardt, and they were basically wrecking each other for the wins. The earlier one is when Ricky Rudd is in the Quaker State car. The later one, I think Ricky Rudd is in the number 5 Tide car. But it's been a minute since I watched them, but they're definitely good. Both of those are two of the best races you'll ever see. And one of those races was the first NASCAR Cup race I ever attended. So I got christened in style with a wreck for the win, and Rusty Wallace won the race that I went to. So Daytona will be a dogfight for the racers trying to get a playoff spot. Oh yeah, no doubt about it, said Marcus Vegan. Yeah, no doubt about it. It's going to be. I think this has got a chance to be the most intense race of the year. Watched the podcast earlier on Denny Hamlin's comments. Where did the 91 Trackhouse car finish? Aaron Flynn, he got wrecked out. He was 36 or something like that. But before that, he had worked his way all the way up to 8th place at one point. And when you looked at his lap times throughout the whole race, he had the 9th fastest lap times of everybody else out there. So I think had the race gone on, and you have to imagine the more experience he gets, the faster he's going to make that car. Because even when he got out of the car, he said, "Man, that car was fast." He's like, I was really figuring it out and starting to figure out how to get the most of it, something to that effect. I think it's fair to say he could have been in the top 10, affecting that win, which Denny Hamlin said there's no way he would affect the win. I think there's a chance he could have, especially given those multiple restarts at the end of the race, if he had been in the top 10. So I don't know. But the other side of that is the people that took Denny Hamlin's side on those comments said, oh, he finished 36th, he wrecked out. So there are definitely people who say what Denny Hamlin said is right. I just happen to still disagree with him because I think Kimi Räikkönen showed that he could have affected that win had he not been caught up in that wreck. It's just like saying Denny Hamlin had no chance of winning that race that Ross Chastain wrecked him. Did he really have no chance of winning that race, or did he not win that race because Ross Chastain wrecked him? Chicken or the egg? It's one of those arguments. So just pick your side. I understand both sides of the argument. That's just where I stand on it. I think Kimi, if you run in the top 10, you've put yourself in position to win a race. So I think he had a good chance of affecting the outcome of the race. I think that's what Denny Hamlin said. I'm trying to remember Denny Hamlin's exact words, but I can't remember them off the top of my head. JGR getting rid of the highest paid driver, said Philip Canavan. Yeah, oh yeah. So from a financial perspective, to go back to his question earlier that I didn't quite know what he was talking about. Yeah, getting rid of the most expensive driver is always a good from a business standpoint, because you can get a younger guy in there that you can grow with and build around, and you can just start the rebuilding process. But it's tough to watch the best Toyota driver of most people's best Toyota driver that there's ever been so far. 60 wins, 2 championships. It's hard to watch the best Toyota driver get shuffled out for somebody else. Very, very strange, very, very weird. I never thought he would drive anything but a Toyota. I realized he drove a Chevrolet, but after Toyota came into the sport, he has not driven anything but Toyota since then. So it's kind of bizarre. And he drove a Ford in Truck Series before he got up to Cup. So it's sort of bizarre to watch a guy. It would sort of like be. Here's a good one. It's sort of like watching Kevin Harvick when he drove the Goodwrench GM, basically the General Motors sponsored car, and now Kevin Harvick drives a Ford Mustang. So it's if you were around long enough to see all that, it's sort of bizarre to see. But if you remember the Kevin Harvick number 29 Goodwrench car, that was iconic, especially because of who he took over for. So you never thought you would see him drive a Ford, but here we sit today. He's driving a Ford, and he's got more wins in a Ford than he ever had in a Chevrolet. But a lot of people still remember him as the GM Goodwrench man, and it's hard for them to watch him drive a Ford. I think the 20 will make the Final Four before the 11 car. Okay, Mark Bonham. Yeah, so Christopher Bell has had a very quiet season. The second half of Christopher Bell's season, or at least after the first 6 races, he took off. And then he had a little lull in between there, but then he took off again. Christopher Bell, he carried the flag for Toyota this weekend, finishing 8th. He just goes about his business in a very quiet manner. He's a very he keeps to himself, but he's definitely a heck of a race car driver. Yeah, for sure. You could definitely see him being your best Toyota driver. He's been more consistent than Denny Hamlin, but Denny Hamlin has more wins. So it's just, I guess, when Denny Hamlin's wins would fall. But if you're going for consistency, the 20 car has been way more consistent. Good, yeah, good point, Mark Barnum. Only in NASCAR can you win the championship without winning a single event. It happened already with Matt Crafton. You should have to win to get in, period. Winners only, please, said Kenny Angel. So that would be a different way of doing the playoff format. Only people that win get into the playoffs, and you get rid of having a fixed 16 drivers. So that's definitely a format that some people want, for sure. It's one of those things I don't think a lot about because I'm still crying and whining about not having full season points. So I need to, I guess, at some point put my mind into playoff mode and figure out how to make the best playoff system. But it's hard to because I want to see season-long points. Hell, I'm late. Good evening. What's up, old home guy? Rich L. Not the age, it's the mileage. Got you by 1 year, said Bones, too. All right, we got some veterans in the chat here. Brian, if you ever notice the past 5 year Brian, if you ever notice the past 5 year at Hamlin is normally most aggressive when they're around BK. Well, they've had beef for a long time. Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, and Denny Hamlin. They don't send each other Christmas cards, no doubt about it. A few more minutes on the poll here. Right now, Bubba is leading slimly by 59% margin. So go ahead and vote on the poll if you have not already. Not that season, but been around some sort of NASCAR my whole life. I love it. Just hate to see them try. And let's get it back to the Outlaws and throw cautions to the wind. Let's go, said Chris R. Yeah, for sure. It's not the same sport that it once was. It doesn't have that blue-collar feel to it anymore. But hopefully someday they can get that back. For the most part, I don't care who these drivers are and where they come from, said Dwayne Mansell. And for the most part, you don't know where any of them know anything about them other than where they come from. They just do not do a good job. They finally have a reality TV show where you'll at least be able to see some of these guys' personalities. So I will give them credit. They're trying to make it better. But for the most part, it's just you're just watching a number on a car, and you know that dude's from El Cajon, California, or Bakersfield, or wherever. So yeah, that's a lot of times that's all you know about a driver. Chris Buescher's from somewhere in Texas. Huge JJ fan from SoCal. Never heard the golf cart story. Something I would do. LOL, said David Bev. Yeah, it was. I don't know. It was pretty well known around here. I don't. And that was before I was messing with late models or anything like that. That was just a story that sort of got out to the mainstream a little bit. Pinksy was the first one to have his drivers be vanilla. Okay, said Mark Langren. So there you go. You got the origin of the original vanilla drivers. Let's see. NASCAR could do away with the shootout and have Hall of Fame races, heritage races like North Wilkesboro with current drivers, said Dakota Henderson. There you go. That's definitely a thought. If you want to win Truex, if you're a team owner, Bubba, said Tacona. So he's putting his 2 cents in. Poll is swinging 57%. Bubba's still in the lead. Leave it up here for just a few more minutes. If you want to, let's see, ANC, just look at Danica or the Wood brothers for sure. Let's see. Right, if the playoffs start right now, the cut line, Kurt Busch, Daniel Suarez, Alex Bowman, Chase Briscoe. Yeah, that's right. Bowman is below the cut line if the playoffs started right now. He sucks majorly right now. I guess you're talking about the Chase, like the Chase type playoffs back in the day. So for sure, or if you're just talking about regular season points, if you're not going by wins or something like that. Are KBM drivers under contract with KBM or with Toyota? Like with Chandler Smith and John Hunter Nemechek, move with them to Chevy if that's where he goes. B. McMahon 88 said, KBM drivers under contract. I think John Hunter Nemechek is under contract with Toyota. However, I don't know how locked in he is with Toyota Racing Development. Chandler Smith, on the other hand, is as far as I know, pretty locked in with Toyota. So I think Chandler Smith would move over to a different Toyota team, and I think John Hunter Nemechek would hit the buyout of his Toyota contract would be light, if anything. I really want to see Zane win that Truck Series Cup, dude. Rich L, yeah, I think Zane Smith needs to be the next dude to come up to Cup. No doubt about it. As far as your young Ford drivers, I think he showed what he can do, and I don't think he needs to make a stop in Xfinity. I think you could put him in a Cup car right now, and he would figure it out. Gibbs messes over his drivers time and time again, says Cassandra Keller. Marketing tactics. Well, if you're in the 20 car, if you ever pulled for a driver in the 20 car at Joe Gibbs, you definitely feel the pain of what Cassandra's talking about right there. Been a rough go of it for the people driving the 20 car. Looks like they're going to stay with Bell for a while, though. So the curse of the 20 car might be over. Marketing tactics are hurting NASCAR more than it's helping them. They definitely need to find a different marketing program. Kimmy was 28th, said Mark Langren. So that was Kimmy's final finishing position. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it would be Hamlin pushing him to the finish regarding the poll. And it looks like at the end of the poll, let's see here. Go ahead and get those votes in now. I'll give you about like maybe 15, 20 seconds to finish it out. We're still at 56% for Bubba, and 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. All right, that's the end of the poll. Bubba is who everybody thinks they're going with there at 56%. If he had to push somebody to the win, it would be Bubba Wallace. So that is who everybody thinks Denny would push at the end of the race. Let's see. I still think Ty Gibbs should get another year of Xfinity before he's fully Cup. Hamlin is going to do whatever. Well, okay, so I'll talk about that, Douglas Serrano. So I think Ty Gibbs, if this was like 4 weeks ago, I would agree with you. I think Ty Gibbs has shown enough that he can handle his emotions when he's in a wreck now, and I think that going forward he is ready for Cup. That being said, I don't know 100% that I would get rid of Kyle. That I would get rid of Kyle Busch for Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs is certainly Toyota's future, but do you want to get rid of Kyle Busch, who is Toyota's presence and is the most recognizable face at Toyota? That I just don't know. I don't know, man. Sign Kyle Busch to a 2 or 3 year deal if you're Joe Gibbs. Keep him in the 18, and then whatever Truex or Denny Hamlin does. If I were Toyota and Joe Gibbs, I would get rid of Truex or Hamlin before I ever got rid of Kyle Busch. And that's just from a Toyota perspective because he has been the guy for Toyota, but that's just my 2 cents on the matter. The Ironman title, Gordon beat Rudd for it, but how close is the number 4 now? That's hard to say. He's got to be pretty close because he's been racing forever. I think he missed one race early in his career, his first or second year, when he got into that. He got suspended for the Greg Biffle incident. But other than that, I think he's had the streak pretty close. So I don't know. I'd have to check on that. I don't know it off the top of my head. The 20 car was awesome when Tony Stewart drove it, said Kelly Jones. Yeah. Unfortunately, after Stewart hopped out of it, it has not had the performance that it had at that moment, or the driver in it was just a little too young. They moved Joey Logano up a little too young. 18 was too young for him. Not saying it's too young for every driver, but it was too young for Joey Logano. But obviously, Joey Logano recovered. He did just fine. Bowman needs to step it up right now, or else he's going to have he's not going to have a deep playoff run. He needs to get points. He's below the cut line right now. If the playoffs started, and he sucks at the 3 round of 16 tracks. So yeah, Bowman's consistently inconsistent. So he needs to find something here. That being said, he's also a guy that can get on a streak. So if he gets on a streak, you got to watch out. Has anyone watched the NASCAR world to see the Icebergs video of drivers needing to stay longer in the lower series? Said Douglas Serrano. I actually haven't seen that one, but I would agree. They do need to stay longer in the lower series. I agree with that 100%. Business over teammate. Anybody would rather push an employee than a teammate. Yeah, no doubt about it. Lee Wilkes. I think he would. Oh yes, I didn't give my opinion. I think he would push Bubba too because that's his driver. That's his team. So he would definitely push Bubba. It would be similar to the Daytona 500 when Dale Earnhardt Sr. was pushing Michael and Dale Jr. I see it being no difference. In that situation, Truex would get hung out to dry. No doubt about it. If Kurt isn't cleared to drive by the time the playoffs start, would his spot be replaced by someone else? Said Joe Jaycox. That's what we talked about that a little bit earlier. Joe, that is if 2311 has a waiver. They can either accept or decline that waiver. If they accept that waiver, Kurt Busch is in. If they decline that waiver, it will go to the next man up, who in the current situation would be Martin Truex. But if we get another winner, it would not be Martin Truex. So there's a bit of controversy over that. Old Home Guy says his Final Four would be the 4, the 1, the 22, and the 48 Final Four. Old Home Guy going with Bowman. He said Bowman's going to shock the world. He's going to get hot at the right time, which he definitely can. He's streaky. He can get hot just as well as he can get cold. Trey K, Old Home Guy, I want to see the 11 in there too. though, just to see the 1 and the 11 race each other for the championship. LOL. That would be awesome. That would be epic. No doubt about it. The curse of the 20 car started with my favorite, unfortunately, said Lee Wilkes. Yeah, but he recovered from the curse, so it looks like the curse is just on the number because he's got a championship. I heard Kyle has already missed that one. Let's see here. I heard Kyle has already signed with the 16 team, says John Smathers. Well, they said they are close to announcing their lineup for next year. Chris Rice said that. So that could be accurate. That might be why Kyle Busch is in a good mood here recently. Somebody said that earlier in the chat. So that could be why he is in a much better mood here recently. We don't know. KB is the most recognizable, but I don't believe he is beloved. Great driver. I like him as a driver, but I sure hate when he acts like a jackass as Sonny V. For sure, he can rub you the wrong way on that microphone. There's no doubt about that. But I think if you're a Toyota fan, especially if you're a younger kid, I'll put it like this. When I was younger, I like guys basketball-wise. I like guys like Allen Iverson who showed a lot of personality and attitude. And then just as it is, the older you get, I noticed when I saw guys showing like a lot of attitude and swagger and stuff like that, I was like, God, that's so annoying. And that's just how I could tell I was getting older. So I think it just depends on your age as to how you interpret how a driver acts. I think if you see a certain mannerism or something at a certain age, you're like, oh, that guy's he's being a rebel, he's rebelling. But you see it at an older age, you're like, oh, that guy's being a child, he's very immature. It just depends on at what age you catch it. So I think that's your fine line. I think he is beloved by a younger generation, and I think the older generation that saw Kyle Busch, they're like, he acts like a baby when he gets out of that car and things don't go his way. So that's how I see the Kyle Busch situation breaking down. It just depends on when you first took in Kyle Busch, what age were you? I think that has a lot to do with it more than anything else. Just one of those situations like that. Check out, let's see. Check out the extended trailer for the NASCAR docuseries on NASCAR's most recent Backseat Drivers episode, said Corley Joe. Yeah, I think that thing's going to be awesome. I might start doing, I'm not going to guarantee it, but I might start doing a review on the episodes of Backseat Drivers, I'm sorry, on the docuseries for the new thing coming out. Eric Jones has had increasingly higher finishing positions at super speedways this year. 29th at Daytona, 14th at Atlanta, 6th at Talladega, 4th at Atlanta 2. I think he will be a serious threat. I agree with you. The Petty GMS cars have been fast at super speedways this year, so I don't doubt that he will have a chance for sure. It's so hard to predict the plate race, though. Speaking of which, I guess since it's on a Saturday night, I guess the Sunday live stream will be a post-race live stream since I can't really preview it. And, of course, Friday I will be at the track most of the day, so I don't think I can pull off a Friday preview. So I guess it'll be a post-race instead of a preview this time. Or a day after, I guess. Suarez doesn't seem to have the true killer instinct needed to win the championship, said Dwayne Mansell. I don't know. He's been pretty good this year. He's had some mechanical issues earlier on, but I think he's right up there. He's run right up there with Ross. I don't know. He hasn't been in that situation enough for me to see how much of a killer instinct he has. That being said, the instance I remember where I could point to and say you might be right is the incident when Bubba Wallace was driving for Petty, and it was they were racing at Charlotte, maybe 2018 or 2019. They were doing the All-Star qualifier race, and Bubba Wallace moved him out of the way to get that transfer spot. So maybe from that perspective, I could see where you're coming from. So maybe, I don't know. He just hasn't been in that situation enough times for me to see. But from that one incident, I guess you could say it's fair. Trackhouse might be likely for Busch. Trackhouse is making an announcement at Daytona, said Jeff. So, yeah, that's the other big rumor. Is Trackhouse going to announce him, or is it going to be something else? Mark Langren said KB is all about the money. Could be, but he said he'd take a pay cut. Denny is not consistent enough this year to make it to the Final Four. Old home guy said, yeah, my thought process with that is the years Denny Hamlin has been consistent, he hasn't won the championship. So the way this crazy year has gone, this could be the year he's inconsistent and wins a championship because he did something he doesn't normally do. Kelly Jones says, great show, Bologna Burger. I really like your videos. I have to run, but we'll watch the rest of this later. Everyone take care. Thanks, Kelly. I appreciate it. Thanks for those kind words. Marcus Vegan, I'm 30, so yeah. So he's definitely a Kyle Busch fan. The old guys were better drivers and actually had actual personality. Yeah, because I think they come from a few things with that. Next Generation Crash Dummy said that. A few things with that. It was a different era when corporations were not as buttoned down as they are now. And in that same era, there were mostly blue-collar guys. And you look at the sport comes from a moonshiner background. So you had even more personalities back then. You had actual outlaws driving race cars back then. And so there's always, up until I will put the stopping point at the Jeff Gordon era. The Jeff Gordon era is when it got super corporate, buttoned down, vanilla personalities. But up until Jeff Gordon, you had a lot of people sort of in that whole blue collar, a lot of personality. They weren't afraid to say anything. And sometimes that was good. Sometimes that was bad. So, yeah, back in the day, they definitely had more personality that they were able to show. So I'll say that they had more personality they were able to show. I don't know necessarily. I think if you let some of these guys show personality, I think you would see a lot different drivers than you see. Camaro 50, here's $5 for more cough drops. Feel better soon, brother. Man, I appreciate it, Camaro. Very thankful for everybody. Thanks for the super chat, man. I appreciate that. I will put that $5 to cough drops, no doubt. Fisherman's friends are in my future. Sorry about coughing, by the way, but I'm trying to get through this. I feel pretty decent. I just got to get the rest of it out of my lungs. I feel way better than I felt the last week and a half. 60% chance of rain at Daytona on Saturday. So just that stinks. I hate that. Danny Price, say from Nova Scotia. I love your post. Appreciate it, Danny Price. Big. I love all my Canadian fans. There's a great TV show that came out of Canada called The Trailer Park Boys. That I love that show. So appreciate you Canucks up there making that quality television for us down here. So yeah, appreciate all the Canadian fans, and I appreciate all the fans from everywhere. We've actually got people in like England, Australia, New Zealand, just people all over the place. I think Denmark. I've seen some Denmark stuff. Just crazy. Even Thailand. I think somebody was from Thailand one time, so that's really cool. I appreciate it. Aaron Flynn unsubscribed. I don't know what I did. Kyle is a winner. Love or hate him for sure. The lack of personality is a result of social media overreach. That could be a part of it too, for sure, old home guy. Denny isn't aggressive enough. That's one reason why he's the modern day Mark Martin. Maybe. I don't know that Mark Martin wasn't aggressive enough. He just, I don't know. He had a certain mindset that he was going to drive a certain way. I think he was aggressive but clean. But he definitely wasn't going to put a bumper on you. Unless you really messed him over. He might have paid you back then. Let's see. Rich L said Aaron's going to be missing some good content. I don't know if Aaron was playing or not, but I don't know what I did to set him off. I think he might have been joking around about me saying the Kyle Busch thing when I said, a lot of people just unsubscribe because I said I like Kyle Busch. Don't like him necessarily when he's on the microphone, but I like his talent and I pull for him for his first name. I'd say after Rudd, Wallace, and Marlin retired, the Busch brothers had personality as bad as it was. Even some other drivers coming around in the same time. Yeah, so, yeah, there were definitely some in the Gordon era, but you definitely see by the time Jeff Gordon had retired, you didn't know a whole lot about the drivers. There just wasn't a whole lot of personality. There's some here and there. Noah Gregson comes to mind. He certainly has a ton of personality, like him or hate him. He's got a ton of personality. There's guys like that. I wouldn't say Gordon. Oh, okay. I wouldn't say Gordon, but definitely after Rudd and Wallace. I see what you're saying there, Jeff. I got you. I miss watching Doug and Bob McKenzie out of Canada take off your hosers for sure. Rich L. Trailer Park Boys was filmed here. They filmed in the parking lot for my work. Met all the boys, said Danny Price. I thought it was filmed in Nova Scotia. That's why I said that. So that's awesome. I'm glad you confirmed that for me. That's awesome. My favorite episode is the Success Auto Body when they open up a car detailing or a car, I guess a car repair shop inside of one of the guys' trailers. That was probably my favorite episode. When we're at the late model shop, sometimes we'll refer to it as Success Auto Body when things aren't going good. These days in NASCAR are nothing like the golden era. That's for sure. But I think anybody's golden era is different. But I agree with you. It was definitely everything's more fun when you're younger. But I agree with you. I think overall, objectively, I think it was definitely more fun back in the day, no doubt about it. But that's just my 2 cents. Some people, I'm sure, are having the time of their lives now. I'll be at Daytona on Saturday. Got hotel reservations through Sunday in case it rains. Good strategy, Camaro 50. I like it. That's definitely a good strategy because there's definitely rain in the forecast, and it's going to rain in Florida at least once a day, from my experience. If Toyota wants KB, they should find the money so they don't have to say bye-bye. Said Mark Langren. I agree with you 100%. I don't know why Toyota hasn't stepped up. Christopher Bell, big sleeper nobody is talking about, said Don McLeese. No doubt about that, Don. I agree with you 100%. Keith Campbell, Bologna Burger, fellow racers. What's up, Keith? My review of each guy below the cut line. Kurt Busch, a tragic tale, but I don't see him making it unless he wins the stage. He's too low in points to make it into any round other than 16. That might be. Have you seen Bad Sport on Netflix episodes? Need for the wacky Devil's Lettuce, Randy Lanier docuseries. Yeah, I watched that thing probably 5 or 6 times, wise guy. And he's also, he was on the Dale Jr. Download. So I actually knew about him before he went on the Dale Jr. Download, and I was super stoked about that. But yeah, he's got a great story, an absolutely insane story. And the fact that he actually got good enough, he actually had the best equipment. So you got to say that. He had the best equipment. But the fact that he figured out how to become a good race car driver, even though he was in the best equipment, just a cool story. Let's see. What's good, Keith? Waving at Keith. Kyle Busch pissed me off when he broke the Gibson guitar at Nashville, Dwayne Mansell. Yeah, and he did it right in front of Sam Bass, too, who had just custom did that. In his defense, he had no idea that was a custom paint job, and he was just trying to be cool and be like Jimi Hendrix and smash the guitar. He didn't know the lore of Jimi Hendrix, that Jimi Hendrix would go back there and get a really cheap guitar when he was going to do that in his part of the set. So, yeah, that was a bad situation. No doubt about it, for sure. But, yeah, I can understand that. Who do you think will win at Daytona? Marquis Vegan said, I don't know. It's a super speedway. I have no clue. But off the top of my head, some guys I'd love to see win: Corey LaJoie, Eric Jones, Michael McDowell. Who else? I don't know. Anybody that has had a pretty decent year, but could also shake up the playoffs, because I just want to see maximum chaos. In a way, I want to see Ryan Blaney win, because he's had such a good season. It would be a shame to see him not make the playoffs. But in the same way, I want to see him get bumped out of the playoffs so that people have to complain about it, just how bad of a playoff system it is. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just hard to say, especially at a plate track. I expect a lot of wrecks, though. I'll say that. That's the only thing I can say for sure. Denny is no Mark Martin, in my opinion, said Cassandra Keller. It's hard to say. I don't know that there'll ever be another Mark Martin. Just to be totally fair, Mark Martin was one of a kind. Keith Campbell, my bolognese sauce, Rich L. They got a little joke going on. Another thing is my drivers are called crybabies. Talking about Chase Elliott. Oh man, I lost my spot. Lost my spot. But somebody was talking about Chase Elliott being a crybaby. I don't think Chase Elliott's a crybaby. I think if you're not angry that you lost a race, that's when I start being concerned. I don't have a problem with the way he reacted after that race. I do get the races here at Scotia Speedway. I've also been on a race team in the old IMSA series. That's pretty cool. I like IMSA. Danny Price chiming in there. Jeff, Trailer Park Boys, and 2.5 Men are always two shows I'll always watch if racing isn't on. Those are two good solid picks. I used to like watching the end of 2.5 Men. They would have these cards at the end of it, and I would pause the TV and read them. So check that out in the credits. They'll have just this blank white card, and it'll have a whole bunch of writing on it. And it's really funny stories from the guy that wrote or created the show. Daniel Suarez, not Daniel Flores. I got you. I don't know if I said it wrong or if it was mistyped, but if I said it wrong, Daniel Suarez. I don't know if I said Flores. Apologies if I did. Keith Campbell, that was a great podcast talking about Randy Lanier. Briscoe, too, inconsistent. He didn't do specifically well at these 3 tracks, but he did win 3 stages this year, so he could make it maybe. Yeah, Chase Briscoe is another guy that can get hot at the right time. You just never know. He's pretty much the same driver as Ross Chastain. He just hasn't had quite the finishes that Chastain's had this year, in my opinion. Yes, I agree with you, Double B. The Truck Series gets too many off weeks. Yeah, for sure. But they did that on purpose because apparently it was not doing good when they had too many. Shoresy is an awesome Canadian TV show. I'll have to put that on the list. Let me write it down so I don't forget it. Shoresy. Got to write stuff down. I will forget it. Let's see. Junior hasn't gotten Cale Yarborough, the Allison brothers, or Bill Elliott on the podcast yet. Yeah, that's kind of a bummer. We haven't had Bill Elliott, any of the Allisons, and I definitely want to see Cale Yarborough. So that he's got a few people I'm sure he wants to get on there, but I'm sure there's scheduling conflicts. Not going anywhere, but back and comment on some of the things I hear. I'm not going anywhere. Just go back and comment on some of the things I hear. Said Aaron Flynn. I got you. He, like I said, I thought he was just joking. That's how I took it. So he was joking around, guys. Cindric, unless he gets hot because these are his 3 worst tracks, it's just basically another Cole Custer situation from 2020. He's just here to get experience, nothing else. Could be. Watch Brad or Christopher Buescher win Daytona. Yeah, that's 2 more people that would shake it up for sure. Bubba Wallace winning would shake it up. I think we mentioned him earlier. Hoping BK pulls this one off. Yeah, so a lot of RFK supporters. That's another thing. RFK has had a turnaround since the second half of the season, so you can't count them out. If they get in there, they could possibly be trouble, especially Christopher Buescher. He's really turned it around. He's carried that organization since the merger, the RFK merger or whatever. Not in this era, not another era. Not in this area. Not in this era. Not another Mark Martin, Cassandra Keller. Yeah, I don't think there'll ever be another Mark Martin. He's just he's his own guy. He has a very unique mindset. Social media was insane this past weekend, volume wise. Keith Campbell, yeah, like it's a lot. It's been a lot. I was one of the people that said that it referred to driver personality and how maybe them being called crybabies when they do that plays into a part of no personality. Said Jeff. Yeah, so that's a fair point in all sports. Everybody's like, oh, we wish athletes and drivers would show more personality. Then the moment they show some personality, like half the fan base calls them names and says they're this and that and the other thing. So there's no real incentive to show personality, right? So it's a catch-22. Who would you like to see in the 91 car next? Kimi Räikkönen. We'll see. Anybody from McLaren, I think, has got a good chance of being in there. I'd like to see McLaughlin in there from IndyCar, formerly of Supercars in Australia. There's a lot of people I'd love to see in there. Just off the top of my head, too many to name, but I don't know. Watched Letterkenny first. Shorzy came out of that. Said Danny Price. So I have to catch up on Letterkenny and then watch Shorzy. I was there when IMSA was called the International Marijuana Smuggling Opera. Oh, yeah, okay, I got you. Mark Langren, got you. That's definitely because of Randy Lanier. Joe Nemechek and John Hunter Nemechek will finish top 5 in Daytona Xfinity race. So that's pretty cool that they're both going to be able to race. Cal Ticky said Bubbles, talking about, well, he could be talking, some people call Bubba Wallace Bubbles, but Cal Ticky could be talking also about Trailer Park Boys. Bubbles, definitely one of the main characters. A lot of people love Bubbles. So that could go either way. Kyle Busch out of the 18 Toyota Candy car means NASCAR is about to lose its best heel that people love to hate. Who's the next generation heel going to be? Says Camaro 50. Believe it or not, I think your next heel driver will be. You've already got Joe Logano. He's still pretty young. A lot of people don't like him, but I think he's a little bit too nice to be a real heel. I think your next really big heel is going to be somebody like Noah Gragson or Ty Gibbs, depending on which side of the rivalry you're on there. I could definitely see Noah Gragson getting into a scuffle with somebody and then absolutely refusing to apologize about it because he's Noah effing Gragson. I could see Noah Gragson. He's got very similar Kyle Busch energy. I could see him having big Kyle Busch energy. We'll put it that way. Kimmy definitely needs a second chance. Said Keith Campbell. Yeah, for sure. I'd love to see Kimmy back in there. What do you think of Quinn Hoff? Everybody hates on him. Quinn Hoff's a nice guy. He's I know his father-in-law, and I like his father-in-law. And Quinn Hoff, fun fact, just had a little baby. They welcomed a little baby today or yesterday. So congratulations to Quinn Hoff. He is now a father, and Ronald, the Thrill Hill, is now a grandfather. The Thrill is now a grandfather. We're all older now. Douglas Serrano, Jesus said it. Now we know we do. LOL. He's got a Trey K talking to Douglas there, so got a little something going on. I've missed a lot here. The only thing Denny and Mark have in common is neither won a Cup championship. Mark is by far a much better driver than Denny Hamlin and a better human than Denny Hamlin, says John Hale. So John Hale, not a Denny Hamlin fan. Would have been great to see Senna or Schumacher. And then, oh, God, yeah. No doubt about it, man. Keith Campbell, good. Yeah, I agree with you. Man, if Ayrton Senna or Michael Schumacher had raced Cup, that would have been really cool. Would have been cool to see Lewis Hamilton do it back in the day when he did the traded paint with Tony Stewart. Monster Energy would sponsor Kyle and Cup, but he screwed them with the rowdy drink. So now he can swill on that, said Nicole Wembley. That he has definitely limited his options by having his own drink. He should at some point figure a way to sponsor himself with that because it is a tax write-off, those sponsor dollars. Helio or TK. Oh, Tony Kanaan would be good. Yeah, anybody racing in the SRX series, I'd love to see in that Project 91 car. No doubt. Good comment, Rich L. Appreciate that. I agree with you on Kimmy, said Douglas Serrano, talking to Keith Campbell. Isn't Chase Elliott a heel technically since he gets a lot of heat from fans on Twitter? Yeah, so if you're not the fan of the most popular driver, he's definitely your heel, right? So that's another thing. Good comment, Jeff. That it definitely depends on your perspective in those situations who a heel is. That's why I said Helio Castroneves is actually going to get a chance to race in a car, and it probably will be the Project 21 car, Bones. It depends on your perspective as to who a heel is, no doubt about it. Ross Chastain is definitely going to be a new heel, but I don't know if he's got the type of personality to carry it like a Kyle Busch did. Good comment, Mark Wachowski. But they're definitely shaping Ross Chastain into the next heel. Marco Andretti will be in the Roval race in Xfinity. Yeah, that will be that's another one. Bubbles is a really good award-winning musician, actually, said Danny Price. That's pretty cool. And he looks totally different without the glasses, too. So those glasses are almost a disguise. You kind of wouldn't recognize him without those. Cassandra Keller, I love Noah. Yeah, Noah, you either love him or hate him. He's just one of those dudes. Just ordered the new Kyle Petty book signed by Kyle and Richard. It says Delmar Kaufman. That's awesome, man. Cassandra Keller said nice on that as well. Mr. Kaufman, Jeff, imagine John Force in the 91 just for the chaos. John Force would just be chaos in the interviews. I would be all there for John Force. That's who they need to take notes from as far as personality goes. John Force has enough personality for the whole Cup field. Bubbles' real name is Mike Smith, and he was in a band called Sandbox. Aaron Flynn, Dale Kelly about to take over because I messed up and almost said DEI earlier. That's what he was talking about when he was talking about being unsubscribed. That's awesome, Aaron Flynn. Yeah, for sure. I almost messed up and said DEI when I was talking about JRM. So I appreciate that, Aaron. That's awesome. Can you read my prediction for the 16 exit and make it? I can, but it's way up there. So if you want to retype it, I will try to catch it and read it. Moulton, sorry I missed it earlier. The thing is, I think if Schumacher didn't get his injury, he would have been in the 91 instead of Raikkonen. There's a good chance. There's no doubt about it. Ross Crash Chain, 100% heel, says John Smathers. Yeah, for sure. Jason Rathcliffe, what's up, gang? What's up, Jason? Good to see you, brother. Cassandra Keller, Kyle said Rowdy Drink is still in the red. It could be. Could be. No telling. David Bebb, 4 likes for 100. So, yeah, if y'all want to hit the like button, I would appreciate it. Or, like the Iceberg says, if you want to lick the like button, I would also appreciate that, too. Chase is not as polite as his dad, old home guy. Yeah, and that's one thing. I'm not going to hold Chase to Bill Elliott's standard. Bill Elliott is his own person. Chase Elliott is his own person. I'm not going to hold Chase Elliott to Bill Elliott's standard. I'm going to let Chase be his own guy. There's a lot of pressure that these second-generation drivers go through that a lot of people never see. And they are their own people, and comparing them to their dad is not necessarily always the fairest thing. Luckily for Chase, he is getting wins, so he doesn't have that added pressure of your dad, people saying your dad was better than you and stuff like that. Although I'm sure he does get a little bit of it. Door bumper clear this week. Marco Andretti in the 48 in Xfinity for sure, said Jason Ratcliffe. No doubt about it. I don't do Twitter. Appears to me it causes too much BS, said Dwayne Mansell. Yeah, it can definitely be toxic. I just get on there for the news. Probably RCR too. Aaron Flynn, Daniel Ricciardo. I definitely want to see Ricciardo. And I also, oh man, his name just left me. The younger kid that also drives with Ricciardo. I want to see him too. Why did his name leave me? Peace out, Jason Ratcliffe. He's got to run. John Force to the 91. Cassandra Keller said, So, yeah, that would definitely be funny. Roger Riggs, you missed my comment. Went to Martinsville test session today. Oh, that's awesome, Roger. I didn't know that, but that's awesome. So I'm glad they let fans in. That's cool. They didn't apparently at the other one, even though they let me in. So I don't know. I'm glad. Anytime NASCAR has a test session, they should let fans in for free. That's just the way it should be. I hope you don't miss this. So we are calling Christopher Buescher now. Yes, he is now Christopher Buescher because of Dale Earnhardt. That was my modem shutting off, said Rich L. Kyle B said he was in the red. Cassandra Keller said so. Okay, well he could be in the red, but I'm sure if they keep doing it like they're doing it, I've actually had Rowdy. It's not that bad. The orange one is good. The apple one is good. I didn't care for the cherry limeade, which was a bummer because I love cherry limeade. But definitely the orange and the apple are really good. And they're healthy for you because his wife is her degree was in physiology or something. She's a health major or something like that. So she made sure it was good for you. So it's good natural energy. And it tastes good is the main thing because, as you can tell, I don't really care about the health benefits of it. Although I'm trying to get healthier, so maybe I will start caring. Two things to do if you go back in time. Tell Abe Lincoln never to go to the Ford Theater. Tell Michael Schumacher never to go skiing, and I'll add a third one on there. Tell Dale Sr. not to block on the last lap at Daytona. So, yeah, guys, below the cut line, I see not making it are the 48, the 99, the 2. And this one's a hard decision, but the 45, I have the 14 in and the round of 12 by 1 point over the 45. Heartbreaking for Kurt. Yeah, I agree with you. Those are solid picks. I might swap the 99 for somebody else because there's always somebody that has trouble. But I might swap the 99. I'd have to think about it. But Suarez has been pretty consistent the second half of the season. So I think he can get above – I think he can get to the round of 12. But that's a solid list, Moulton. That's a good list for sure. Thumbs down on Christopher for Keith Campbell. Yeah, I think it's corny too, Keith. I wasn't a big fan of the Christopher thing. But a lot of women like it because women name their kids and they always want their kids to use their full name. I'm a nickname guy, so that's just where I fall on it. So it seems to be, from what I've seen, it seems to be split. Women love it because women like it when you use your full name for some reason, and I think more guys like it when you go by the nickname. That's just my 2 cents from what I've seen. From my, I'm not saying it's one way or the other. Just from my anecdotal experience. NBC just posted a new video with Chase and Kyle. More drama. Oh, man. Imagine that. Watch Haley Deegan's SRX vlogs. She has some good interactions with Bill Elliott. I'll have to check those out. I look at some of her stuff, but not all of it. I will go back and find those and check that out. I'm a big fan of the SRX series, too. Lau has been confirmed in the 91. That's pretty cool. Alex Palau, you're talking about. I forget what movie it is, but in we got to paint the car number on that wall. That way Ross will try to hit it. LOL. Oh, that's pretty funny, Danny Price. That's good. I can't remember what movie that's from either. Is that from Six Pack, maybe? If you know what movie we're talking about here, let us know. They put Ricardo in the 91 at Darlington, and he runs the Dale Senior throwback. Maybe he will drive that Dale Senior car. That would be cool. That would be really cool. They could bring back like one of those Coca-Cola throwbacks for Ricardo if it worked out for them. Helio, Mark Langren said, Helio will be in the Daytona 500, Mark Langren. So, and it probably will be in the Project 91 car. Lando Norris, thank you, Danny Price. I appreciate it. I don't know why I had a mental blank on that. The test was free, says Keith Campbell. That's what's up. NASCAR finally did something right. I've got dial-up with baling wire and soup cans, said Rich L. I feel you, brother. CenturyLink is terrible, bro. Me and Rich L are on the CenturyLink gang, and the CenturyLink gang is letting us down. Have you tried the Focus Factor energy drinks? No, but Delmo Kaufman, but I am going to try one. They are not healthy for you, though, because they've got that fake sugar in them. But I'm going to try them anyway because it's not a real – I drink diet stuff all the time. John Forrest is fast, going straight. He would forget to turn left. Swap Suarez and Hamlin, said Jeff. Yeah, because Hamlin's been sort of inconsistent, but he's also got wins. Yeah, I think Suarez is going to make it to the round of 12. I got to see who I would kick out, though. Let's see. That's funny. Mark W. I see Cassandra Keller. Jeff, nicknames. Okay. Bolberg. That's fine. Bolberg. Bolo Berg would also work there. I don't know. BB. A lot of people call me BB, so that's also cool. Molten Rage. I've been called a lot worse than Bolberg, I guess would be the response to that, Jeff. Yeah. Nicknames are good. I disagree. I don't see Suarez making it further than the round of 16. He's a nice story, but there's been no one consistent that often. These are his worst tracks. Oh, that's a good point. I haven't looked at everybody's statistics of the tracks coming up. So you might be a step ahead of me there, Moulton. Fair play to you there. I'm pretty sure John Force raced the IROC Series. Not sure yet. I think he did race the IROC Series, Mark. Pretty sure he did. I don't know how good or bad he did in that. Douglas Serrano. I feel like Chris heard Dale Jr. in the booth calling him Christopher while he was racing, or listening to his audio of calling him Christopher instead of Chris. Yeah, and they've had a joke about it. He actually changed their roof panel name. It now says Christopher, and he said his mom loves it because she wanted him to go by Christopher for a long time. Cassandra Keller, she's Team SRX. Appreciate it, Cassandra. I got a nickname my mom gave me. Only she gets away with saying it, though. Ugh, said Rich L. Yeah, so I guess nicknames can be good or bad. With the release of the Dodge EV, any rumors with Stuart Haas, John Lewis? No, but it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for them to run the electric car as their body, because that's what Chevrolet is going to do when they axe off the Camaro. They are going to run whatever hybrid or fully electric car they have, because that will be the only car they have other than the Corvettes. Yeah, Rich L telling you, BB, CenturyLink bites. Yeah, they're rough. Trey K, what is the deal with the drama on Larson Elliott thing? It didn't seem bad enough to try to get drama out of it. I thought it was racing. Am I missing something? Trey K. So the big deal with that is Chase Elliott has really, really passionate fans. He's the most popular driver in the sport. And Kyle Larson also has a ton of fans. So I feel like TV is just trying to stoke the drama, sort of like they sort of stoked the drama with the Ross Chastain, Denny Hamlin thing. They're just trying to find the next thing to make NASCAR trend so that they can get the best ratings, so that they can make the most money selling commercials. That's pretty much all that's about. Trey K, or are they just mad Ross didn't wreck anyone for drama? Well, technically Ross wrecked, from what they're saying. Molten Rage just said the 6 got into Ross, and then Ross got into the 3. But they're putting the Kimi Räikkönen wreck on Ross Chastain, so they're trying to get the best of both worlds there. Aaron Flynn just talking from racing from 173 exit off of I-95 in North Carolina. Okay, I hear you, brother. Is that Wake County? Just talking racing 173 exit off of. Is that Wake County or Carteret County? Maybe. I don't know. I'll have to think on that. Tomorrow is the unveil for the new Dodges, or it could be a Speedway. For the new Dodges post 2023, going to have one unveil every Wednesday for a month. Keith Campbell, yeah, that's a good point. Dodge is having they're doing a big send off on the Challenger and the Charger and the Durango, I think. And they are also revealing new cars. They're calling it Power Week or something. It's really cool what they're doing. So check them out on social media. Christopher even called Dale Jr. Ralph in a tweet. Oh, that's good. That's deep lore right there. So Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s first name is actually Ralph. So that's pretty good there. Hopefully SHR will be on board post 2023. Keith Campbell said, "I'm part of it. I think they're switching to Dodge. I think everything lines up, and I think there's enough smoke. And the fact that Adam Stern was reporting on it, I think there's enough smoke there that they're going to get a deal done, or maybe already have one in place." Media manufacturing drama over the 9 and the 5, says Keith Campbell. I agree with you there, but that's what they do. But I do see heartbreaking ending in the round of 16. Like Kurt returns and tried his hardest but doesn't make it. Yeah, I could definitely see Kurt not making it if he comes back for sure, because he's just so far. He's in such a hole. We named our boys Wesley and William. If you're trying to say the right name when referring, it comes out Wet William. Says Rich L. That's pretty funny. Yeah, people that alliterate their kids have a hard time sometimes when they act up, and they gotta get them under control. Can LaJoy get a win at Daytona? Gruesome Dot says yes. Corey LaJoy can definitely get a win at Daytona, no doubt about it. I'll feel bad, but I'll feel like what's happening to Kurt. Yeah, if Kurt doesn't make it, that's definitely going to be a heartbreaker. Moulton jumping in with that. Where are all the electricity coming from for EV cars? So-called green energy can't support. Old home guy. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just telling you what General Motors is doing, what Dodge is doing. I got no control of it. I'm just telling you what they're going to be racing, most likely. I got no control over it. That just seems to be the way it's going. My nickname, Little Kitten, got it when I raced jet skis. I am nice unless you come at me in a bad way. Then I bring out the claws, said Cassandra Keller. No doubt about it. When you're racing, you got to get your elbows up, and the claws have to come out in that situation for the Little Kitten. John Lewis. So Chevy is going to the EV Chevelle now. Quite possibly. I don't know what they're going to name it, but I think Lumina would make more sense, because I don't know if you necessarily want to put a muscle car name with an electric, but Ford's already done it with the Mustang Mach-E or whatever that thing's called. By the way, Christopher Busher is from Prosper, Texas. There you go. Thanks. Appreciate that, Douglas Serrano. Prosper, Texas. Shout out to Prosper. Lando Norris, Mark Langren. Yep, that's the guy. That's the name I couldn't remember earlier. Appreciate it, Mark. My father-in-law has a huge man crush on Larson. LOL, says Camaro 50. Camaro, almost messed that up. Camaro 50. Larson's the man, in my opinion. I don't see any way around it right now. He's been the best for the last 2 or 3 years. Cassandra, remind me not to tick you off, says Rich L. Stevie Ray, what's up, man? Haven't been on here in a while, but I check you out every time you post. LOL. Appreciate it, Stevie Ray. Glad you can make it today, man. Cassandra Keller, I hope Dodge comes back. Yeah, me too, man. I miss Dodge being in the sport. It's so much more fun with more manufacturers. No tell Dale to mount his belt properly. Mark Langren. Well, yeah, that too. I don't know how much that played a factor into it. Or make everybody wear full face and a Hans device before that event, and that also would have prevented it. I saw today Tony Stewart at NHR event in Minnesota on Sunday, not at Watkins Glen, said Nicole Wembley. Yeah, he's going where his wife's at, and I can't blame him for that. Happy wife, happy life, no doubt about it. Camaro 50, Rich L, agreeing with you with some laughs there. Halifax County got a dirt track that runs every weekend. Aaron Flynn. Yep, no doubt. Okay. So got the dirt track out there in Halifax. Just waiting for Junior to call Chase Elliott, William Clyde. Oh yeah, that's definitely coming at some point. Oh Clyde. Molten Rage. It's always a heartbreaker on the last playoff race in Bristol, where one guy needed to pass the cutoff line and never could get it to happen with 10. And I feel like it's going to happen with the 45. It definitely could, unless he wins the race. I mean, you never know. You win the race, and you take all that pressure off of you. LaJoy can get a win at Daytona if Chase doesn't wreck him, said Mark Wachowski. Yeah, a lot of people bringing that up, that Chase did something similar to Corey LaJoy that Kyle Larson did to him at Watkins Glen, and then also at was it California or Vegas? I think it was California. EV racing will be the final blow to NASCAR if they do it. Nicole Wembley. So it's the race cars aren't going to be EVs, although NASCAR has announced they're doing an EV series totally separate from the Cup Series. The Cup Series body will just be based on the EV race car. Nicole, they're not going to go full EV. They might do the hybrid thing, but that they won't do full EV in the Cup Series. Saw Chevelle revealed the other day, said Mark Barnum. Oh, so I'm behind. I haven't seen the Chevelle yet. I need to check that out. I have a good friend of mine who named their boy Jackson, Jack for short. Their last name is Daniels. Says Danny Price. I went to school with a guy named Jack Daniels, and we had good fun with that. Old home guy, but have you noticed ever since everything seems to be going electric, my electric bill's off the hook. Gas is cheaper now, said Rich L. Imagine that. They get you to buy in, then they jack wherever there is profit to be made, profit will be made. More manufacturers in both cars and tires. Old home guy. Yeah, I mean, tire wars were a thing back in the day. I don't know if NASCAR will ever allow that to come back, but it definitely was a piece of the history, no doubt about that. Jeff says, I think Bologna Burger has a secret liking for Leah Pruitt. She's not bad looking. I'm not hating, but that's another man's wife, so I'm not going to talk about her. First, last, Brandy or Truex. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out who Brandy is in that situation. Oh, Blaney. Okay, I got you. First, last. I think Blaney gets in over Truex, and now that I've said that, it'll probably go the other way, just because that's how a lot of my picks have gone this year. Although I did pick Kevin Harvick to win, and I was right about that, and I picked Kyle Larson to win this weekend on the preview. I'll miss the preview this week, obviously, because the race is on Saturday, but I'll still stream on Sunday. We'll just talk about what happened during the race, I guess, and I'll still make my regular Monday video doing the recap or whatever. I might do the recap video on Sunday and then still do the live stream. We'll figure it out. I was watching the iRace on YouTube. Anybody else watching that? Said Stevie Ray. Well, I'm not, because I don't have enough internet to do two things at once. But iRacing is fun to watch. You definitely will, in the future, I think you'll see some stars come out of that. So that could be where younger generations get their connection to their driver before they ever move up. Mark with No Drag Racer was in IROC that I remember. Said Mark Langren. Maybe he wasn't. I thought John Force did race IROC. I might be thinking about somebody else, maybe Steve Kinser or Sammy Swindell or somebody. I hope you're not wearing. I hope we're not wearing you out with all these comments. You do good answering Nicole Wembley. Oh no, that's fun. If I get tired, I'll log off or whatever. But right now, feeling good, and we're rolling. The voice is holding strong, so I'm gonna try to give y'all more time than normal since the other two were cut short because I kept losing my voice. Would love to stay. It's always fun catching the show. I got to take off though. Have a good one, everybody. Take them easy, Trey K. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Not by me, but local business owners, said Aaron Flynn. I got you, no doubt. Let's see. Bristol 2022 playoff race commentator. It's the last lap. 45 needs to make it past the 14. Still above him. Will he do it? Aggressive, hits the wall. Heartbreaker for the 45. He is out. So Molten Rage is calling his shot specifically. He thinks the 14 and the 45 are going to be the ones on the cut line. So that'll be we'll see if that happens. See if he's got a crystal ball. If he does, you might want to ask him who's going to win all the races. He might be your new Stone Cold Lead Pipe Lock guy. Vargas, that runs the Xfinity Series, is racing in it. Ryan Vargas does a good job doing that stuff, no doubt. Larson probably not having lunch at the Dawsonville Full Room anytime soon. They said they like to have a good time, and they're pretty fun about it. So they said they're typically not that bad about it. They said if you really want to get a reaction, wear a Denny Hamlin shirt in there. So if you want to get a rise out of them, walk in there with a Denny Hamlin shirt on, I reckon. NASCAR should get a push to pass button. Dakota Henderson, I think that might be coming when they go to the hybrid deal here in a few years, if that rumor is true. Probably didn't hear, but Christopher Busher is from Prosper, Texas, says Douglas Serrano. No doubt about it. Prosper, Texas is where Christopher Busher is from. 34 for the win this weekend, says old home guy. I would love to see it. He's been close. He could definitely get it done. He's gotten it done at Daytona before. Rich L. Blaney could win Daytona. Yeah, I kind of want to see Blaney win Daytona just to lock himself in. But I also want to see somebody who hasn't won a race win Daytona, so he's not in, so that the playoff system gets maximum critique. I think one of the Taylor brothers would be good in the 91 car. Oh, yeah, both Jordan and the other Taylor, Randy Sandstorm would be good in there. Mark Langren. I agree with that. I'm just seeing BK taking it. Brad Keselowski's good at plate tracks. He could definitely take it. No doubt, Rich. BB, you were so fun. I appreciate it, Cassandra. I do my best. Hope Chase goes to Bristol this weekend. Eric Jones for the win at Daytona in the number 43. I definitely want to see Chase go to Bristol and sort of do like that old Michael Waltrip commercial. I want to see a spoof of that, and I definitely want to see Eric Jones win Daytona. That would be another non-winner so far this season that I'd like to see win Daytona. If not Daytona, somewhere. I just want to see Richard Petty get another win relatively quickly. They just had the big one, LOL. Whoever is driving the 99 car just calls the big one, LOL, says Stevie Ray. They're not going to blame the 99 car. They're going to blame the one car if they blame a Trackhouse car, Stevie Ray, the way it's going. But, yeah, definitely I can see that happening. And the 99 car, that would take away his lack of aggression card that I guess some people think he has. I never thought about it. I heard that it's already been done for Stuart Haas to go to Dodge. That's one reason Ford won't come up with the money for some guy named Kyle. That could be true. Rich L laughing with old home guy there. Have you ever heard of the Emporia Flash or Hurricane Spec Edwards? Probably some South Boston back in the day. Spec Edwards, Hurricane. I've heard Hurricane Edwards. I didn't know Spec was in there. I have heard the name Hurricane Edwards though for sure. Emporia Flash. That would have to be one of the Sadlers, I would imagine. But yeah, I remember Hurricane. I remember the name Hurricane Edwards, Aaron Flynn, no doubt about it. I think he won a track championship, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I've enjoyed this, but 5:45 comes early. Oh man, that is rough, Danny Price. 5:45 is rough. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Looks like a lot of people are having to go, so we'll do about 10 more minutes here, maybe, and I will sign off myself because I'm running out of water. But so far, the water has held up pretty well as far as the voice goes. Kurt Busch post-race interview. I predict it's my fault. I made a stupid decision. I didn't want to try and hit the 14, and it backfired. I love my Toyota Camry. Thanks for the team for the fast hot rod. Moulton. He's even predicting the interview, which is definitely pretty cool. Jones wins Daytona, so we got a lot of Eric Jones fans. I definitely wouldn't be upset with that. Definitely would be cool to see Eric Jones get a win there, and of course I would like that. Chase Briscoe interview. I feel bad for Kurt. I didn't want to put him in that wall for the round of 12, but thank you to my team for giving me a fast hot rod. Let's go. Says Molten Rage. So he's predicted both interviews and the final race of the round of 16. Our local Nicole Wembley, our local NBC channel, has decided to do a Bucks preseason game. Yeah, somebody was telling me about that on Twitter. It's more important than the Coke Zero 400 at Daytona, but we'll put it on their twin station in Orlando. Yeah, somebody told me about that. That's crazy to me because they did it to us in North Carolina. They did the same thing last year with a Panthers game, and I had to download Peacock, and that's when Peacock was fairly new, and it was a whole hassle. I finally got in at about lap 15 or 16 of the race, but it was a pain in the butt. I was super mad. There was a lot of cuss words that day for sure. I don't think the one car is in it, said Stevie Ray. Off for Daytona? I don't know, man. He's going to be up there, I think. Trackhouse has been pretty fast. But of the two drivers, I'll agree with you. I think Suarez is a better super speedway driver out of Trackhouse. I will give you that. Kurt Busch out, Truex in, first, last. So, yeah, I could definitely see 2311 would have to use the rejecting the waiver. I just don't know how that's going to play out. It's going to be interesting to see. The reason why Dale Jr. called Chris Buescher Christopher is because he was confused with Christopher Bell. And then he kept doing it, trying to get the guy with the good voice. I can't think of nobody's name today. Why can't I think of that guy's name? But he was trying to get him to say it too. He was trying to say it so many times that he confused Rick Ross. I can't think of his name. But he was trying to get him to say it too, so he kept saying it, trying to make that guy say it. Old home guy, Kurt makes the final 8. There's a bold prediction right there. Old home guy is going big. He's going with Alex Bowman in the final 4, Kurt in the final 8. I like it. Mike Sheeran. Okay, all right. I got you, Aaron. I do remember Mike Sheeran. I remember that name. Glad I have no work schedule. I did 4 a.m. for 30-plus years. I hear you, Mark Barnum. What a champ. I bet that first day where you didn't have to wake up at 4 a.m., I bet you still did it anyway, just out of instinct, for sure. But no doubt about it. I remember when I was working in a factory, man, I was on that schedule like, boom, I woke up every day at the same time. It wouldn't matter how late I stayed up. My timer was like, boom. So, yeah, I feel you. Hey there, what do you think about silly season 2023? It's been insane, James Melee. It's been completely insane. Somebody said it hasn't been silly season. It's been crazy season this year. Somebody said that in the comments, and I forgot who it was, but I agree with them. John Hale, the NBC commenters and all the others quit trying to hype up and add more drama to the race when there's nothing there. Yeah, and I wish they would quit shouting every time, too. And they just shout too much, for my taste. A lot of people prefer them over Fox, and Fox isn't perfect either. I think both of them have a lot of room for improvement, just to be totally honest. So I'm not pulling for one over the other. I do wish the NBC commentators would stop shouting so much. Good comment, John Hale. Appreciate it. Chris the Dude Nurse, personal question. Don't answer if you don't want to. What, if any, is your goal with YouTube? To be totally honest with you, Chris, I've already sort of surpassed it. I had no idea this would ever be where it's at. So I'm just on here trying to have fun now and talk about NASCAR. with all you and just have as much fun as possible. The only real goal I want to hit is 10,000 because I think that would be cool to hit. But I'm not going to sit here and go crazy about it trying to get there. If it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. Like it's not no big deal one way or another. But like I said, this thing's already way bigger than I ever thought it would be, and it's been really really cool and really fun. So, man, I appreciate all y'all. Good question. I appreciate that. My honest to God goal was just to get 1,000. I never thought I would get 1,000. And I had basically given up on that. And I just, cause I made these things for a long time and not a lot of people watched them. I was getting like 23 views. And then just one day it took off. And I couldn't tell you to this day what happened, why that was. It just did. And, so here we are. But, it took off so fast. This has been within the last 6 or 7 months. So I can't get my head around it, but it's really cool. Just gonna see where it goes. I don't know. I don't think North Carolina is doing that thing where the preseason game is more important, right? Jeff said they did it last year. I don't think they're doing it this year. As far as I know, they're not doing it. So we should in North Carolina be able to watch the Coke Zero race, but check your local listings is all I can tell you, because I'll be at the racetrack, so I will have to watch it. I'll have to watch a replay of it either way. So I'm going to be watching it on what is it? I guess Peacock or Track Pass or whatever. So I'll be watching it that way either way. Bubba Wallace might be the favorite to win Daytona. Yeah, he's got some crazy statistic where he's finished second in the second to third in all of the last super speedway races. Rick Allen, thank you, Ghost, appreciate it. I couldn't think of that. Mike Bagley or Rick Allen, said Jeff. Yeah, Rick Allen is who I was thinking of. Junior was trying to get Rick Allen to say Christopher after he messed up and said Christopher, so he kept saying it. I never used an alarm clock, BB, said Mark Barnum. I bet not, man. Like, there was no need. You just wake up and look at it and wait for it to ring. You do that for so many, like, people. I don't know how many people know this, but you get on a schedule for so many years in a row. You just wake up at a certain time. It's insane how your body can set itself like that, but it does after you do it for so long. Austin Cindric post-Bristol wreck. It looked like the 47 tried to come up. It was my fault. We weren't leaving enough room. We wrecked each other. It's sad. Our playoff hopes ended with fire. Yeah, the 47. 47 is one you got to watch. He's talking about the final race for the playoffs. But definitely, the 47 might have an impact on this Daytona race. He could either win it or he could wreck everybody. But I think the 47 will be a factor because he's hyper aggressive. Camaro 50 BB to NWP. You would make that podcast a lot better. I've been on it one time before. Those guys are all super nice. They've helped me out a whole lot, and I appreciate them. So if they ever ask me to come on again, I'll definitely jump on there again. Those guys are awesome. Like I said, behind the scenes, they help me out a whole lot, giving me tips and advice, helping me out. They're like super cool. I appreciate all of them. And they just had me on because they were a fan of the show. They like what I was doing. So just shout out to them. I appreciate them. First, last favorite driver of all time. It's a tie between Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt. I grew up a Richard Petty fan. He was my favorite, but then we went to RCR one time during the off season. And I think I've told this story before, but basically they had a little sign-in sheet just to say that you had been there. And we did the sign-in sheet. And a week later in the mail, I got a signed autographed picture from Dale Earnhardt. Just for visiting. He said it just says to Kyle from Dale Earnhardt, and he just sent that as his appreciation for us visiting the shop. So after that, it was equally Earnhardt and Richard Petty, and I still to this day pull for RCR and Petty GMS for that reason. Let's see. Rich L, took me years to get used to day shifts after working the graveyard or night shifts while I was in the Navy. I always volunteered for those shifts, just like working at night. Yeah, I feel you, Rich L. I was on first shift, but I was always wanted to get third shift just because I'm with you. and at a factory, third shift is just a little more relaxed. We'll put it that way. They shout like they're 3 beers over the limit. I said all the home guy talking about NBC's announcers. Yeah, they love to shout. Like, I appreciate their passion, and I'm glad they're happy doing what they're doing. But it's definitely too much. Aaron Flynn said Montclair. I don't remember Montclair, Aaron Flynn, but I remember Monk Tate. Cassandra Keller, you the man. I appreciate it, Cassandra. Yes, I depend on you for all of my NASCAR news for sure. I appreciate it, Stevie Ray. I try to read as much as I can and stay as up to date as I can, and make my show as good and as short as I can when I do the pre-recorded videos. So I do try to look out for people holding their phone. I don't want you holding your phone. I used to do it for 5 minutes. I tried to go for under 5 minutes, but that was so hard. I try to aim for about 6 minutes now. I try to keep them at 6 minutes or less. Not always successful, but I do try to make them short. But you do have to get all the information in there. So sometimes I don't succeed, but I try to. I have Dish, so I DVR the races. Mark Barnum. Yeah, I'm going to DVR mine too, but just in case they do a preseason game over top of it, I might have to watch it on I got DirecTV, not Dish, but just in case they sometimes they'll put a preseason game over it, like they did that one year with down here last year, I think. So just in case, I will have a backup plan. I will watch that race after I get home from Orange County, assisting with Johnny Aramendia at Orange County for his late model race. So many big names in this area. Aaron Flynn, oh yeah, no doubt about it. Barry Begley was my guy growing up. Aaron Flynn, by the way. Barry Begley was who I grew up with. That was my favorite guy. I've been working graveyard for the last 20 years. Didn't plan it that way. Just worked out for me. Camaro 50. Yeah. I like third shift myself. But the job I had was a first shift job. And if I could have swapped it out, I definitely would have gone third shift. Just suited my the way my sleep patterns at that time better. But ever since that, I do wake up in the mornings now. It's set my clock to first shift for life. So that's just the way it went. Daniel Suarez's post-race interview. My Trackhouse teammate tried to help me get the win. Just one spot short to make it happy. Thanks, Ross, for helping me, but we were just a few points too short. P2. Molten Rage doing Daniel Suarez. Don't call him Danny. He doesn't like to be called Danny Suarez. Daniel Suarez's post-race interview. Buddy Isles, the local Flying 11. I don't remember Buddy Isles, but I remember Alan and Earl. Who did they have in that car? At one point, it was Jeff Burton. So the story behind Alan and Earl Rice. I think Earl drove the car at some points too, but they did the Flying 11 too because they actually helped Hendrick on his car, the original Flying 11. So they flew the Flying 11 too. So that was the story behind their Flying 11 at South Boston. James Melee been wanting to get involved in joining a group podcast with NWP, but they don't seem to want me in. Well, just keep doing your thing, James. Keep growing your channel. They'll give you a look for sure. So if you want to check out some NASCAR content, check out James Melee's channel. If you like what you see, go ahead and hit his subscribe button for sure, and give him a check out, give him a shout out. Let's see, Cassandra Keller, go Navy. So she's a Navy Navy person for sure. Dakota Henderson, I feel like Watkins Glen has become as prestigious a race with the drivers from different disciplines winning here. Seems to be a lot of hype when going there. Yeah, Watkins Glen has been a good race the last few years, no doubt about it. The fastest way to get to 10,000 subscribers is keep doing what you're doing. Mark Wachowski, well, if that's the way to do it, that's what we're going to do, brother, because I don't plan on stopping. I'm going to keep them going as long as I can. Kevin Harvick, race win interview. So happy for my crew. I'd like to thank all of you for helping me get here. Daniel Suarez's talent, feel bad for him, but we did it. Let's go, crew. Molten Rage giving Harvick's post race. I'm lucky. No more work, 30 plus years, 40 plus weeks. with 60-hour weeks is enough. I feel you, Mark Langren. Believe me, I feel you. Cleary family is from Broadnax, Virginia. Okay. Okay. Talking Truck Series, I have something to say to Matt DiBenedetto. Anyone who doubts him doesn't know him. I agree with that 100%. Team Penske fan, what's up? Good to see you here. Camaro guy, love the graveyard. We got more done at night than the day shift. That's because you don't have nobody up your butt. Day shift have so many managers and people up your butt, you can't do nothing, just so you know, Rich L. That's why we couldn't get nothing done on first shift. Night ops were definitely the best. Yeah, no doubt about it. Imagine that. The less oversight, the more stuff people can get done. Yeah, that's definitely why I wanted to work third shift too, just so y'all know from what I was talking about earlier. Good comment, Rich L. I appreciate it. And that's always there's always a fun rivalry or a little bit of a fun beef between first and third shift. Everybody's always blaming each other for the other one's previous shifts. I got school tomorrow, and I just had soccer practice. Team Penske fan. That's awesome, dude. Let's see. Thanks for answering my questions. No problem, First Class. I try to get to as many of them as I can. Sometimes I miss them. Keith Campbell says that new Chevelle looks sweet. I'm going to check it out after I hop off here in a minute. I remember when some friend's cousin was going sprint car racing. It was Donnie Schatz. Shots. I always call him Schatz. It was Donnie Schatz back in North Dakota coal mining days. Yeah, Donnie Schatz is the man. Him and Kyle Larson have put on some good dirt battles. When one's racing and the other's not racing, you can pretty much bet that the one is going to win there. If you see Donnie Schatz, he's probably going to win. If you see Kyle Larson, he's probably going to win. If you see them both at the same place, it's going to be a great race. Molten Rage, Kyle Busch, no post-race interview. My car was junk. Yeah, that's pretty much the way it goes. So, are you still live? Yes, I'm still live, Kelly Combs, but I'm actually fixing to jump off here in just a minute. Keith, it looks good, but we need a Ford Coyote engine, LOL. Talking about the new Chevelle. And Douglas Serrano said, Kelly Combs, yes, he is still live, but just for one more minute because I am fixing to sign off. I appreciate all y'all. It was fun. These things are always fun. And everybody stay safe, and thanks for your time. Peace.